Yeah, you must be Ahti. Out of your mind.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Futon Talks. We're so glad to have you. We're so glad to be here. And I'm your host, Josh Castro, and I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful, handsome, even though you can't see him, the voice sure sounds like it is, Christopher Midley.
Hey.
It's not Fat Albert.
It's not Fat Albert, you're right.
Different show.
It's Fat Chris.
It's a different podcast. It's Fat Chris. I'm definitely Fat Josh, I'll tell you that much. My wife and I have been donating a lot of plasma, and they weigh you every time you're there, of course, because they want to make sure they don't take too much plasma from you, because if they do, you'll die and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I weigh a lot more than I used to weigh. On my wedding day, I weighed 145 pounds.
Really? Wow, nice.
I'm a little guy. Like, I'm only 5'7". I'm like a Tom Cruise sized person, okay? Like, I'm not a tall man. But now I weigh like 175 on a good day. Mm-hmm. And like 180 when I'm not doing too hot. So I've gained like 30 to 35 pounds.
I think
it's pretty
175 to 180 is my baseline.
But you're like 6 feet tall. Like,
I almost don't even want to look at a scale right now.
Oh, you're doing good. You're no worse than me. I'll tell you that much.
You're just seeing my torso
up.
You don't know what my stomach looks like.
My thighs are huge.
I've never seen calves so big.
You've never seen calves like this. They look like a 3-layered cake. And that's what this podcast is about today. It's about
controlling your
predicament. It's about controlling your weight. So we're going to be talking about control today.
That's right.
You know, I might speckle in a little bit of self-hatred, but that's just the way we are. That's our generation, you know?
Yep.
It sneaks in there.
Self-loathing.
By the way, how have you been doing? Before we get started, before we talk about what we're supposed to, what's your life been like? It's been a week since we've done one of these.
It's been a week. So, I played a lot of this, a little of that.
Oh.
Did some work. Found out my dog has kidney failure. So I had to pay outrageous vet bills just to be told that. But
is he okay though?
Yeah,
like for real?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, good. I was like, oh no, does he actually have kidney failure?
No, he doesn't.
I'm very happy for him. That would be a loss to the world if that dog died.
It will be, that's for sure.
I feel like the thumbnail for this podcast should be Jesse Faden, but it's Sam's face on Jesse Faden's face.
Yes.
A treasure to the world. My week hasn't been that much. It hasn't been that interesting either. I had a really busy week.
Oh, yeah?
It's been one of those. Yes. Just lots of work. Lots of... I have lots of homework every week. Just lots of reading and lots of writing. Mm-hmm. But I had a paper due, and I forgot about it completely. It was for my ethics class, and I don't know what happened. I don't know. We were supposed to... So in ethics, we're studying like normative theories, which are different ways of thinking about morality, essentially. Yeah. And we were supposed to draw a different normative theory each, so that we could write a long paper about it. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's value theory, Kantianism, utilitarianism. Anyways, I wasn't there the day that we drew normative theories, so I totally forgot about it. And then on Monday, I looked on Canvas and I was like, oh crap, I have this like big paper due, this like 12 page paper about utilitarianism. Anyways, but I called him and he was like, oh yeah, we drew for you. You're doing utilitarianism. Anyways, so I had to like just do so much, but it was okay. It wasn't a big deal. It was just like writing every day for like 6 hours on top of, what I usually do, which is like probably 4 or 5 hours of homework outside of class. Yeah. But anyways, it was like, why'd I do this to myself? But you want to know what brought me through, Chris? You want to know what picked me up when I was down?
Tell me, Josh.
BattleBots highlights clips.
Why?
Have you ever heard of BattleBots?
It sounds like Bionicles, but no, what is it?
It's worse. Okay, so it's like RC cars, but they put like battle axes on top of them that they can operate with like a controller.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's amazing. So I would just start watching these compilation videos of like these different battle bots like killing each other and the really odd people that drive them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's my favorite part. It's just like how bizarre the whole thing is. There was this one dude who looked like if he wasn't going to win, he was going to go home and like take his fish out of the bowl and like microwave them just to see them suffer. Like he was one of those. He looked very odd. But my favorite battle bot is called Bronco. Most of them have like saws or axes, but it just has like a little thing that it like shoves under the other battle bot and like flips it like 6 feet in the air.
Jeez.
It's awesome. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, please do.
Grace hates it. She's like, why are you watching this stupid robot videos, Josh? I can't help it, Grace. Get off my back, woman.
That's what I love.
I don't say that to my wife. Actually, I do. I'm not going to lie to you people. Anyway, that's what I did this week. So, and I played a little bit of Control.
Yeah.
Just prepared a little bit.
Wrote some notes.
A couple. You know, approximately 30 minutes ago, I wrote a couple notes.
Yeah.
Speaking of notes, I can give you a quick summary of the game, and then maybe you can take it away. We can talk about a couple characters, perhaps.
I would love that.
I would love that too.
Should we really quick say who made this game?
Oh yes, I was just about to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Please,
Christopher.
go on.
Gosh. Yeah, you think I'm crazy? You think I'm off? What's the word for crazy? When you're off the, I want to say off the cradle.
Off your rocker?
Off my rocker. You cradle someone in a rocker. I'm not off my rocker, okay? Just because I watch a little bit of BattleBots. But no, this game was made by Remedy Entertainment, formerly partnered with Microsoft. Luckily, not anymore. But they famously made Quantum Break. They made Alan Wake. They what was that? They made Max Payne, the original Max Payne, a while ago.
Yes.
I think those are really the 3 games they're known for, right? Max Payne 1 and 2, as well as Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and now Control.
Yes.
Yes. And they're artists. They take their time with their stories. But this came out in 2019, and you okay with me just doing the summary right off the bat?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I'm going to get right into it. So, game comes out in 2019, and it is about this young woman whose name is Jessie Faden. I'm going to try not to go too much into character here just because we're going to focus on that a lot during the podcast. But Jessie is a woman with a mysterious motive who's come to this place called the Federal Bureau of Control, which is a secret government organization that pretty much tries to cover up supernatural stuff because they don't think the public can handle it, right? If you've seen anything like Twin Peaks, or if you've seen, what's the show with Scully and Mulder? I don't know, I'm so dumb. The X-Files.
No.
If you've seen X-Files, it's super similar. But pretty much she goes into the building, but the thing is no one's there. And it's because there's been an invasion from a force called the Hiss, which is almost like this disease that infects people. And when it infects them, they almost become zombie-like in that they don't have any will for themselves and they try to attack people. Anyways, because there's this invasion, the whole place is on lockdown. So as Jessie explores, she's kind of finding the remnants of the organization that used to hold power. But eventually she encounters some people and they help her to start getting things on track in the Bureau. And she, right as she's about to find people, she finds something called the service weapon, which is an object of power, which we'll get into later. But pretty much it's a special object that holds power. Anyway, she touches it and it makes her the leader of the Federal Bureau of Control, and she's called the director. Anyway, so she kind of stumbles into this role of power, and because she is chosen by the service weapon to be the new leader, she has to kind of step up and help the people that she finds come together and fight against this force, the Hiss. And pretty much that's the story, is that she works with her friends to drive out this force, the Hiss, and along the way she also accomplishes her personal goal, which is to find her brother, who the Bureau abducted a long time ago. and she tries to reconnect with him, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, without getting into too many details, she tries to overcome the hiss and so on and so forth.
Nice and concise. I liked it.
I was controlled as I did it.
You exhibited so much control.
I know.
In the last 2 minutes. I'm proud of you.
Director Castro, me. That's
right.
Me.
Jesse Castro here.
Yes. Jesse Castro tuning into Futon Talks.
Can I say something before we move on?
No.
So,
yeah, you can.
Like you said, this game came out in 2019. This year was crazy.
Yes. Yes, it was.
You had, this is just for me, Catherine Full Body, right?
Of course.
You have Days Gone, Metro Exodus, Sekiro, Resident Evil 2, Modern Warfare, and Death Stranding, all in the same year.
Man, Sekiro came out in 2019. Mm-hmm. That is so weird.
Right?
I don't know why. Some of these games feel like they've been out for way longer. Like, I feel like Control has been out way longer. I feel like Sekiro has been out way longer. Mm-hmm. Even Death Stranding feels like it's been out longer.
Well, Death Stranding's a little weird because it's like the last month of the year, and then Sekiro, I think, was the second, was like February or something. Mm-hmm. And Resident Evil was January. So it was a pretty nicely spaced out year for games.
Thank you, game companies.
Yeah, thank you. But it's like,
you guys did so good.
Even just looking at those, Control has a lot against it right there. Like, I think it's obviously better than Catherine. It's better than Days Gone, Metro. But once you start getting into like Sekiro and Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, I think probably Control might be actually a better game than Death Stranding and stuff. But I don't know how you feel about that. Like,
so it's interesting. I mean, ironically, I don't think I played any of those other games. Mm-hmm. Well, I played Death Stranding. And I played a little bit of Sekiro. I've seen a lot of Sekiro. I don't know. I think they're also different. That's the nice thing about that list is
you're right.
Like, they all take totally different roles. Like Death Stranding, Sekiro, Control. What was the other big contender? Resident Evil 2. Mm-hmm. They're like totally different games. Yeah. I mean, one's a horror game with totally different feeling controls. Control is like, I don't even know what to call Control. A third-person action game?
I'm sure we'll find it.
Not in the same way Sekiro is,
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find it in our discussion. How to actually define this game.
I think this game, although, like, despite all that, I think it finds a great niche. Mm-hmm. For sure. Like, I think it deserved the Game of the Year awards it got. Granted, all 4 of those games got Game of the Year awards. Mm-hmm. And I think they all deserved it for different reasons. So I'm excited to see what you have to say about this.
Me too.
I almost just want to see, like, I will say this. We've mentioned this in the past. When I finished this game, I did not want to delete it off my console. I just wanted to kind of let it sit there.
Me too.
Just be able to get back to it, man. Like, there's something really intriguing about just the world of Control. Mm-hmm. That's kind of hard to put your finger on.
And kind of like going back to what we do here, I did not miss this game, but you did.
Oh, yes. I did miss this game. Did I?
Did you?
Did I miss this game?
I thought you did. Did you play this on PS4?
I don't feel like... I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, maybe you didn't miss it.
I didn't really miss this game. So I probably played this game because I got my PS4 in like early 2020, late 2019.
That's right. I did tell you to buy this game.
Yeah, you told me to buy this.
You would love this game.
And I did. You were correct. I loved all 20 frames of it.
I will say this. Playing it a second time, I like it a lot more. And I want more. I want a lot more.
I'm glad. I'm very glad you say that.
But
what was your... Sorry, just going back to what you said. Your impressions going from the PS4 version to the PS5 version.
Dude, the PS5 version is butter. It's so smooth.
Butter.
I always play on performance, and I think you do too.
Me too. I like look around on the pretty mode for a couple seconds, and I just switch to performance
to see what you might be missing. Usually, you're not missing much.
Yeah.
Like it still runs fine. Jesse doesn't run fine in graphic mode.
No.
My wife saw me playing this game and she's like, she runs like the mom in Hereditary when she's floating in the air. I was like, you're right. And from that point on, the running unsettled me and like kind of was a distraction. So thanks, wife.
Thanks, wife.
But no, this 60 frames is amazing in this game. And being able
So
to
good.
pause the game and unpause in about 5 seconds is pretty nice. It's better than the 10 or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Dude, you would
there's still
pause
pausing
and it
problems
would, like,
in this game.
It would fall apart when you tried to pause it. In the PS4 version especially.
It's like that video I sent you. I paused the game and then when I unpause it, like the characters would get 3 times as big and then go back to normal.
That's so weird. Like, just the weirdest little glitches.
Yeah, like why is the pausing the problem here?
I don't know. But in every aspect, the PS5 version is so much better.
It's so much better.
It's ridiculous.
It's so much.
Like,
It's such a different experience, even in combat.
it's completely different. So, I got really close to getting the platinum in this game on PS4. I had like a couple extra things to do, and I think I deleted it just because I didn't have space, and like we wanted to play Warzone, so I was like, I'll get it later. Thinking I would just play it on PS5 and finish the platinum, not really realizing then how it would work, with different platinums. Anyway, so I didn't finish it. I got the platinum this time playing it, and I thought to myself, I'm a bad person. I am a skeeving and an addicted person. Let me get the platinum again by finishing it on the PS4. So I downloaded the PS4 version to my PS5, and wow, like going from playing the PS5 version to playing the PS4 version was insane.
Yeah.
It literally feels like a slideshow sometimes, like the way it runs. And I didn't even realize, like I couldn't tell.
Right. We're so coddled and spoiled now with PS5.
Nothing is good to me anymore. Like,
Happiness
if
is
it's 50
gone.
frames, not here, not for me.
Honestly, though.
It's like, yeah, man, like it's crazy the difference. So all of you people who can't find a PS5, go get one.
Before we get into the characters, a little tradition of ours. Describing this game in 3 words. And I would like for you to go first.
Oh, okay. Exhilarating. Mysterious. Intriguing.
I like it.
Those were very fast. I probably could have come up with better ones, but those were immediately what came to my mind. Exhilarating, intriguing, and mysterious.
I like it. I
What are
have
yours?
uncanny, brutal,
Ooh,
and mathematically perfect,
I like that.
which is the line from the
Brutalism,
game.
Mathematically perfect. Oh, does it? Is it? Oh, yeah, it is, because about the pyramid, huh?
That's right. And I think we just start going to the characters. And how I want to kind of go through them is I'll give you the name. I want the first word that comes in your mind. And then maybe we'll talk about them a little bit and then move on. Sound good?
Give it to me.
Jesse Faden.
I'm trying so hard. Give me a
Here,
second.
you want me to just go first for all these? Because I have mine written
Sure.
down.
Some of them will be fast. It's just I'm very conflicted. That's my word about Jesse.
Oh,
Faden.
that is
I'm very
a good
conflicted
word.
about Jesse.
That's a great word. Good for
What's
you.
your word?
Deliberate.
Good for you. That's a good word for Jesse, not Jetty. Deliberate and conflicted. Do you want to talk about our words really quick?
Yeah, sure.
I think deliberate's a great word.
Thank you.
She's quite driven. Why'd you choose it, though? What was your thought process?
Everything she does is not by there's no emotion behind it. I would say, like, she's not making emotional choices. She's very methodical, and she holds back information a lot of the time from the people around her, and she chooses and kind of talks with another character, Polaris.
Oh, I forgot she was even a character.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
About like what she should say, how much should she share anything about herself to these people, and she really chooses who she trusts. And I thought that was the only word I can really find that felt good to me. Calculated could be another one, but I feel like deliberate is more suitable for Jesse.
I like it.
How about conflicted?
So, I mean, obviously it works for her as well because she's conflicted. I think, honestly, her main conflict in the story isn't actually between, her and fighting the hiss. It's between order and chaos, It's between whether she wants to be the director, which is a symbol of order, or whether she wants to, Anyways, it's interesting. There's lots of symbolism in this game, but I think she's very conflicted about what she wants.
Yeah.
But mostly I chose conflicted because I'm conflicted about her. I don't know if she's the strongest protagonist.
She's pretty vague.
And she's very vague, and there's things I really don't like about her. Mm-hmm. Not about her, about the way they chose to portray her. I really don't like the constant narration she provides, especially in conversations. When she says what she's thinking.
Yes.
Because she'll meet Emily, for example, she met a girl named Emily Pope. We'll talk about her later. And she's her assistant, essentially, right? She's big into research, and she helps her compile information and disseminate it to the rest of the people in the bureau. Anyways, so she'll be like, "Hi, Emily." And then you'll hear Jesse be like, "I don't know about this lady."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
is that the narration, or is that her talking to Polaris, though?
It's her talking to Polaris, but it functions as narration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I just feel like it's just sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it.
I know what you're saying.
You can write well enough that you don't have to tell me exactly what she's thinking. And I found it overbearing.
Yeah.
And annoying. Because, it's hard for a character to have depth or be interesting if there's no, I don't know. It's really hard
reading
to
between the
explain
lines and stuff. We should be able to do that and kind of come up with our own conclusions instead of the character talking and then telling us what she means from what she just said. Right?
I didn't need her to tell me how she felt. Just act like the way you feel.
So,
especially in a game where the entire thing is reading between the lines and filling stuff in intuitively. Why is the main character spoon feeding me how she feels? It felt off and weird and out of place. Anyways, but what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say one of the games that we were gonna do was Concrete Genie, and I'll tell you right now, the narration in that game makes this one look like it was written by Scorsese or something.
Oh no.
The narration from the main character in Concrete Genie was just so cringe and awkward and was constant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, Concrete Genie.
It's a fun game though.
That's good. Your dialect sucks, Concrete Genie. You should feel bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Did you see that yourself when you're playing?
It's it bothered me. So I'll say this: the first 10 minutes of the game is pretty abysmal writing wise. I'll say that.
It's not perfect.
Her talking about the poster for 3 minutes. There's a movie.
Yeah.
And in the movie there's a poster. And behind the poster is yada yada yada.
There's a hole.
And there's a hole, and it leads to another poster or something, She says poster a good 17 times, I think. And then when she meets Emily Pope for the first time, just really cringy dialogue. I mean, the game even starts out with, "Fair warning, this is going to get really weird," or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing she says.
Yeah,
she says, "This is going to be pretty weird."
I don't like that. You don't need to tell me that this game's going to be weird. Just show me.
Yeah,
but I got used to it, and I feel like the writing for Jesse, especially, gets a lot better with the DLCs.
I agree with that.
Because once they start peppering in, what she really needed was a little character, a little bit of humor here, back talking.
I noticed that. Yeah.
She's a lot funnier in the DLCs, and she really comes into her own. But that makes sense because it's already after her first journey, really.
Yeah. No, I noticed that as well. That she seemed to be more funny in the DLCs, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And she has some good moments. Like, this is jumping super far ahead, but for example, when she's figuring out the Prime Candidate program, or she's going to the ordinary AWE, which will explain all this. But there's a portion where she finds interviews with herself.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre. She finds interviews from her past that they recorded.
Yeah.
And I thought those were pretty effective, you know? And her conversations with Dylan, her brother, when she finds him, are pretty effective.
Yeah.
But you know, I will come out the gate and say this before we even finish our character discussion. I honestly think every character in this is pretty B-grade mediocre, except for the one character that matters, and that's the oldest house.
Oh, okay.
It's the only good character. Everyone else is just filler, like mediocre. The oldest house, the world of control, is, in my opinion, the only part that really holds it up. But it does it in such a good way that it doesn't matter. It like makes it work. I think that the world of control is incredible. And that you don't even need amazing characters. I think the characters are passable. They're okay. But the world is incredible.
Like at least 2 or 3 that are really exceptional.
All right, we'll see. I'm excited to see what you have to say. I don't know. I was very unimpressed with the story of this game and the characters of this game.
So, I know that's what they were really going for, was letting you like feel uneasy and nothing to make sense. Like that's what they were going for. Was like we don't want you to know what this is about or how to feel about things. And I think that really shows later on in the story, and it really shows with some of these characters. But we'll move on to our next character, the ex-director, Zachariah Trench, who is my least favorite character.
Really?
Or maybe not.
I like Trench.
Maybe not.
That's so interesting. I just feel like we have very different opinions about this game. But anyways, tell me what you think about Trench. What's your one word?
Coward. And slimy is another one that was...
Slimy? Interesting.
Misleading was another one. I don't know. I never liked Trench. But like we don't really get to know him very well unless you dive deep into the research and the notes and whatnot. But I mean, Trench is an interesting guy. All of the ex-directors are interesting because like what made them so amazing to be a director of the Bureau. Like what makes them what makes Jesse, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my one word. What's yours?
Mine's technically 3, but they're all strung together.
Sorry, I said 3. So
it's Old Boy Club or Old Boys Club.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
He's really representative of like the male CEO. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The male director. You know, he's just hard-lined. All he cares about is the bottom line. And
he has a mustache. He has
right.
glasses.
Yes.
Probably smokes a cigar.
Did you know he's Max Payne?
Interesting.
He's the voice actor for Max Payne. Yeah.
I like that.
I know. He's pretty dope. I think even though I don't love him, I think he's a good character. Does that make sense?
He's used effectively in the story for sure.
And his character makes sense, and his arc makes sense to me, and he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
Granted, I see why you chose the word coward.
Yeah.
He kills himself. But guys, although I don't know if does he do it because he's ashamed when he realizes what he's done?
Maybe he just don't.
Or do the hiss make him do it? Because he was possessed by the hiss.
It's the hiss more than anything, but for him to go and to use the slide projector, pretty selfish of himself. So.
I see. He wanted to see. He wanted to see the hand.
That's right.
We'll explain all this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was good.
Move on to our next character. One that we actually meet before him. The janitor, Ahti.
Ahti.
What's your word for Ahti?
My word for Ahti is cosmic.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Did you get piss in your sock? Freaking Ahti, dude. He's so weird. Can I tell you something that I learned about Ahti that makes him make way more sense to me now?
Yeah, sure.
So, you have lots of Finnish ancestors, right? Or where
Norwegian,
are you
but
from?
they're right next to each other.
Norwegian, there you go. Well, I'd never heard a Finnish person speak in my life until I looked up some documentaries about the game.
Yeah.
And then they talked, and I was like, oh, he's Finnish. Like, I knew he was Finnish, but I thought they just, like, made up a voice. Like,
No,
I didn't realize it was just an accent. I thought he was just being crazy. But that's just how Finnish people talk.
It's also, he speaks so incoherently and just jumbled Sudoku that
Yes, like
it.
I wasn't being racist. I just,
No, for sure.
just
Like,
thought he was
it's just-
gibberish, you know?
It's like, what are you supposed to make of him when he says stuff like, "Don't carve it into a cat, carve it into a moose" or something? And I was like, what's that supposed to mean?
For real.
I think actually he says, "Burn it into a moose."
Burn it into a moose. What does he call her all the time? Perkele. That's what he calls her. Perkele. He's interesting though. Did you know that Ahti means ocean god
It makes
in
sense.
Finnish?
Makes sense.
Yeah, more you know.
Because
He is a fascinating character.
he is. I have another word, kind of mysterious, but in a phrase, the one with all the secrets,
Hello.
or the one with all the answers, really, you know?
Ooh.
Like, he knows, I feel like he's been the only janitor at the bureau.
Oh yeah.
He's been there he's like the longest living person there.
I think he's like the id, which we'll talk about later. I think he's like a part of the oldest house.
I
know what I mean?
I agree, especially with
Because
yeah.
oh,
sorry.
sorry. You keep going. You keep
No,
going.
like when you
keep
like
going.
when he goes on vacation and stuff to
Yeah.
the oldest house, or to
I know he like goes into the foundation for his vacation.
yeah, the foundation, or he goes to the lakeside motel, right?
Yeah, he goes to Ocean View. Yeah.
It's just very weird. He is.
He's pretty much
I love
God.
your word, cosmic. He is like a cosmic entity. He's like a Lovecraftian being
Yeah.
that is in this
Like,
world.
I don't know what to make of him. He's cool though.
I like him. I feel like a good word for all these characters is probably underused or underutilized.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like they could have just used a little bit more everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point, is it's supposed to be like mysterious and you're not supposed to know everything by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Are we good to move on to the next character?
I got one more thing about Ahti.
Yeah, tell me.
This is kind of skipping forward a little bit again. I feel like you can't talk about any of these characters without kind of going into some form of depth. But in the Alan Wake DLC, the AWE DLC, it talks about these guys, Thor and Odinson, who obviously, you know, are references to Thor and Odin. But they're in a band, and their music that they create, because they're artists, it comes to life.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're in Bright Falls. And we'll get to Bright Falls. We'll get to all of this, okay?
We'll get there.
But they become beings of power. Kind of like Jesse. Kind of like Alan Wake. You know? They gain power through the things they create. And Ahti talks about them. And the song that plays in the ashtray maze
Is from them.
is by them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Like, Ahti obviously has connections that go beyond the oldest house. Like, I don't know if he's part of the board, which, by the way, the board is this entity which is kind of in charge of the oldest house, and they interface with the director to give her knowledge and direction.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily good or bad, but they're there, and they've been in power. So, anyways, he has some sort of, I don't know if he's part of the board. I don't know if he's something greater than the board. There's obviously these entities which exist outside the board, which we'll talk about. It's just, gosh, there's so much to talk about. But you can continue.
You think that,
Talk
like,
about the next character.
feel like a part of him could be an object of power, or like he has his Walkman, which I feel is an object of power. It probably like gives him powers or something.
I don't know. It must be. But this is the thing. Is it an object of power? Or is he powerful because it's an object of power? Or is it an object of power because he's a person of power?
I think it's because he's a person of power, probably.
I think so too. He's got to be something, you know?
But I love
he's just a Finnish man.
He is just a Finnish man. I think we'll talk about the ashtray maze a little later, but I feel like it's pretty cool that the Walkman is like the key. So I feel like that's his key to probably a lot of other places within the Bureau. Let's move on to our research specialist, Emily Pope.
Ah, Emily.
I wrote down bubbly.
Yeah.
Ready for everything. Wants more responsibility. Wants all the answers.
She is all of those things. I find her annoying. I don't like Emily. That's my word for Emily. Sorry, Mrs. Pope.
That's weird because I
just
felt
thought
like
she was kind of annoying.
I thought you were gonna like Emily.
No, she's okay. I mean, she fits the role. Like, that's the thing. When I say I don't like the characters in this game, it's not necessarily that they're not effective. It's that I don't think they put them to good use. Like, I think that Emily's fine. She's an intriguing character. She makes sense for the world, right? That she would be this, not up-and-comer, but this really motivated person who wants to progress and wants to be in charge and wants to learn new things and wants to research and uncover new truth, I feel like she's an effective character. I found her a little annoying, but I find it more annoying that they just didn't use anybody. Like, there's no intriguing plot points that like she needed to be there for. Like, why is she in the story?
Yeah. I feel like it's another one of those things where she is better in the DLC than she is in the main game.
I agree.
But yeah, I would agree. Emily Pope is there for the first couple hours or like the first few missions, and then she's just the one that you report to. All in all, she gives you the next mission. She sits in the boardroom pretty much the entire game. But then, like, in the DLCs, you see her do stuff, and like she shows her personal interest and her desires and maybe some selfishness with the tasks that she's giving you. This one, she's really almost, I don't want to be mean, but she's kind of trying to not be too mean.
Like, she's not bad. She's just
very bright and loud and a little bit of an airhead.
I agree.
While also being like super intelligent.
Yeah, she's like smart, but she's like,
it's I don't know. Everything is such a surprise.
She's so focused.
To her.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's weird.
And I feel like she almost is just a person for Jesse to talk to.
Yeah, and they it's one of those things where they act like they've become great friends over the course of the game, but like, why are they friends?
I feel like you
guys have spent like 6 minutes together.
Honestly, like Jesse's the character, and then everyone is a love interest. I don't think any of them are friends. They're all like, we could date. Like that's the thought I had for everything. Like I felt like Jesse and Emily, especially, almost had some sort of like romantic interest.
Interesting. Maybe it's just because I skipped through all the dialogue and just read it. I don't know. I felt there was just no personality, like no chemistry. Like, like Jesse's like a cardboard wall, man. Like when people talk to her, they say the thing and then they move on. I don't know. What this game needed was some like Mass Effect 2 style side missions with each of the main characters. Like, should have had one with Emily Pope. You should have had something with Ahti that's not just cleaning mold that you can't find.
Quest line. That
Yeah.
lets almost like a Persona 5 confidants and
Yes.
stuff. I like
Something
that.
like
That
that,
would
you
be
know?
nice.
Just because I don't care about anyone. Like, I don't know. I feel bad, but I don't care about Emily. I kind of care about Ahti, but not because of something Ahti did.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's freaking wild. And I don't care about the guy from Maintenance, whose name I don't even remember.
Maintenance. Oh, Simon Arish.
Yeah, I liked him my first playthrough, but didn't talk to him
He's
at
the
all
head of
the
security,
second time.
right? That guy. The one who looks like
Yeah,
John
head
Mulaney.
Yeah, he does look like John Mulaney. And then there's the chick who's always got the gun on.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there. We'll get there, Josh.
We'll get there.
My goodness.
I don't know. I'm realizing I don't like the characters in this game. You're revealing things about me I didn't know.
That's interesting. Let's talk about like the most underused character in the game. Prime Candidate 6, Dylan Faden.
You right, man. This game should have been more. It should have had more Dylan.
It should. What's your one word for him?
What? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, interesting. That's probably my word. Is interesting or intriguing.
Mm.
What's your word?
Billy Corgan
Oh, Billy
from
Corgan.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh,
He looks just like
I have
him.
no. Does he? I didn't know
Not
Billy
really,
Corgan looked like
but it's like
a mental patient.
yeah, he does. Odd and underused was the words I really used for him. I love his dialogue. I love when Jesse interacts with him. He is. This might be contradicting myself, but he is like the most interesting part of the game. But it almost seems like he doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's like
What was the point?
it's like they wrote themselves. It's like they wrote themselves into a corner and they didn't know what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they just had too many things going on at once. Like, what's the point of this game to you? Like, if you had to tell me the point of the story, what would you tell me the point of the story was?
For Jesse, I feel like finding out that you don't need help or finding yourself, because I feel like, I don't know, this is just my interpretation, this might be different from yours, but at the end, when she finds that Polaris is kind of destroyed from the Hedron, that Polaris isn't almost a being at all, and it was just a part of Jesse this entire time. Like, she's always been with Jesse. And she didn't really need Polaris. She thought she was using someone else's power when it was all her the entire time. That's how I felt about it. But the overall game is just contrasting everything against itself. You know, light and dark, good and evil and stuff. But it just does it in a very sometimes contradicting way. Like, there's contrast, but they go about it in such a weird way. There's actually, I have the visual identity, like the 3 words that they use to describe what they wanted to make in this game. Like, they're 3 words that they went back to every time they made a decision for this game.
Oh, what were they?
Funny enough, contrast was 1 word. Brutalism and transformation.
That makes sense.
And they, just those 3 words, they would go back to it, make sure it makes sense, and then go back, like, keep writing on. But I don't know, what does this game mean to you? Like, what is this game about?
I mean, I think you're right. I think that's definitely what happens. I think it's a game about Jessie, finding that she doesn't need someone else to be powerful, right? To have the power to move and influence and to create. She can do that on her own. She doesn't need Hedron or Polaris. It was always a part of her. At the end of the game, so during the game, there's this thing that you don't know about called Hedron. And she's been taken from the astral plane, which is just another dimension. And she's been housed in the oldest house, the building the FBC is in. And one of the... Sorry, I'm trying to like explain all these details now. One of the directors, whose name is Dr. Darling, he's a director of the research department. And he has taken Hedron into the oldest house. And he's built these machines called HRAs, or Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. And they protect you from the hiss, essentially. Anyways, the thing is, they're amplifiers. So if there's no Hadron resonance, then they don't work. And everyone will get infected by the hiss, even if they're wearing one, right?
Yeah.
All it does is amplify the signal Hedron puts out. Anyways, at the end of the game, Hedron is destroyed. Spoiler alert. And when that happens, all the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers, don't work anymore. So everyone gets infected by the hiss. And the reason they come back online is because Jessie becomes the new Hedron. She begins emitting Hadron resonance. And so that's why the amplifiers work again, is because she puts out the signal again, and she replaces Hedron, essentially, right? Okay. That's what goes on. And I'm just explaining that for them. I mean, I figure you pretty much said that on your own. So, obviously, it's about her discovering that power within herself. I think it's, got interesting mixed messages about, like, order and chaos. Because it doesn't portray order as very good, but it portrays chaos as very bad. I don't know. It just feels like there was too much going on. It needed to be a little bit more focused. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the problem with this game, like my biggest problem, is how abrupt the ending is and how little is said.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty abrupt.
I feel like the only part of this game in its entirety with the DLCs that has an ending and has like a clear conclusion is the Foundation. AWE and Control end so abruptly and they say nothing. Like, I know what Foundation, I know what the Foundation is about, and I have a clear beginning and end. The other two, I'm not so sure. Like, I understand what's going on. I understand what it might be leading up to or talking about, but it's so abrupt. And I feel
it's very abrupt. Yeah.
I feel like the biggest problem with that, which, I always talk about, I'm not a big fan of, well, it makes sense for this game. But yeah, in-game bosses, or Control and AWE could have used a good last boss. Because the Control doesn't have...
Did you not like AWE's last boss?
We'll get into it.
I'm so interested. I'm fascinated by this.
But Control doesn't have an end-game boss. It just has like 3 rounds of fighting a ton of enemies. And
you're like invincible, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. And then you get to Dylan and... Right?
Yeah, that's it. There's no boss. It's waves.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like there's 2 stories, right? The one story is of her becoming the director and of her encountering this new world and like figuring it out and trying to defeat the hiss. And then there's the story of her finding her brother. And it's like both are super necessary because like she wouldn't have ever gone to the FBC without her brother.
Yeah.
But it's just like the story with her brother is like on a back burner halfway through the game. Even though it ends with you saving Dylan, but it's not about him. I don't know how to describe it.
It's like when you talk about Uncharted and how like you don't want to climb a bunch of walls and rocks to get your story fed to you. Like when they're just talking. This game is like that with Dylan's story. You're in combat, you're exploring, and you're just getting little bits and pieces of Dylan's and your background. And it doesn't make it like enough of a thing for it to be a thing in the gamer's mind,
It's like
this is the player Jesse's goal is to find Dylan. But I feel like that whole thing gets just pushed to the wayside midway through the game.
it's like they just never finished the story. Like, I don't know, that's how I felt. Like, this game, especially the base game, I don't think it really gets that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some parts get better in Foundation and AWE, but it really feels like they just cut out the story halfway through. Like, you get halfway through Dylan's story, and then they're like, all right, come back in Control 2. And then, like, you get halfway through the story of her becoming director. And I think this is the same thing in Foundation. You get, like, halfway through this great story, and then it just, like, ends. You're like, wait, what? Like, that's it? Like, I don't know. So I don't know if I just feel unsatisfied. I don't know if I feel disappointed. But I love this game. Like, that's the thing. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games, but it's just like, I don't know, because I love reading all, like, the case files and, like, memos and whatnot. And the story about her and Dylan back in Ordinary is, like, fascinating, you know? Like, it's super cool. But, like, they don't go into it. And they don't really go into Dylan and Jesse reuniting or, like, figuring things out. But we can move on to the next character. I'm sorry. I took us off the rails there.
Next 5 of them, pretty unimportant, except for one of them. Head of Operations, Helen Marshall. Who,
Tuffy.
Yeah, stern, forgettable.
Yeah, she's
Really,
a tough girl.
Like, just looking at her, you know what she is. Like, she's, like, military and just, I'm gonna get things done attitude. And she always has like a Gatling gun in her arm.
Of course.
I don't know. She's probably the one character I would have just cut.
Interesting. I mean, I don't think she's great. I think she's a cool design, but I don't think she provides anything at all.
And like she's well, like all of these characters are well voice acted, but I don't know. She's the most generic. I feel except for maybe Arish.
Really, I like Arish.
I mean, I love Arish.
I think Arish is my favorite one of these guys. That's so interesting that we have totally different opinions on this.
Awkward dude.
Yes, I thought he provided levity that the game needed.
Yeah, because Marshall has zero of that though.
Marshall doesn't want levity.
Marshall
she wants to save lives, Chris.
She's like, go. No, Marshall is the dad from Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I have to say about her.
She's fine. She's fine. Yeah, like she's okay.
But let's move on to Simon Arish, the security chief.
It's funny. That's my word.
Yeah, funny.
He's funny.
He's nervous.
He's nervous.
I feel like he has a crush on Jesse.
Really? I feel like you were very lonely when you played this game.
No.
Or something.
I don't know. I just get that. Maybe it's just like, maybe I like to say things so that when they do happen, I can be like, I was right.
Like, I could definitely see all that, but like, I don't feel like Jessie needs a partner.
No, she doesn't. Absolutely not.
Like, Jessie's her own woman,
Arish
Chris.
was awkward and nervous around her because, I don't know, you might have a crush on her.
No, I could see it. I could see that.
I'm not lonely.
But,
he's the lonely guy in maintenance. Okay.
He's just concerned the freaking power plant's gonna blow up, man.
And I do like that he looks like John Mulaney.
That helps. Helps with everything.
Yeah, it does. That always helps. But yeah, should
like
we move on from Arish?
Yeah. Although I will say, I think I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to continue talking. I think he is actually, of like Emily Pope, the lady we just talked about, who I already forgot because she's super forgettable. And like, I don't know. I think he's the best of those three. I found him the most interesting to interact with, and I thought he brought out more of Jesse.
I agree with that. I agree with what you just said there. I agree with that statement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I like Arish. He's undervalued. It would have been great if they had a mission where they actually got to know each other, and I actually cared about him. Mm-hmm. But whatever.
He's probably one of the best acted characters in the game.
Yeah,
he has really good dialogue.
Voice acting. I'm really interested in who you're going to say next, because I actually really like another one.
Me too.
A lot.
And I think we'll get to him later.
Ooh, it's a man.
Let's get through the specialist, Raya Underhill.
The frick is that, Chris? I have no idea who that is.
The scientist that's with the mold.
Oh, I hate her. She's annoying.
She is...
She's fine.
Odd.
She's a good character. Again, like, these aren't bad characters. They're just
She's very
people
blunt.
I don't like.
She's very blunt.
I like that she has a romance with Dr. Darling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And, like, you read their correspondence and, like, you read about Dr. Darling getting, like, written up for employing her.
Yeah.
So she's a good character. You know, she's strong-willed.
Yeah. When I was reading through the control, the making and art of control, as I do, they wanted her to be very comfortable in the oldest house. And she's one of the oldest, like, directors there, and that they wanted her to be, like, very comfortable with everything that's happening. Nothing phases her. She's down there with the mold and stuff, and, like, she's doing whatever she wants, which
Doesn't bother her.
which I liked.
I like that too.
She just underutilized character. She probably could have been used very well in the Foundation.
Oh yeah, gosh, I forgot about it.
No, but
No, I agree.
But yeah,
Like, this is the thing.
hope
Why
we
don't we
see
have a
these-
side mission with her trying to find Dr. Darling?
I feel like there is a reason for that.
What are you looking for, game 2, Chris? Because we ain't getting game
I'll
2.
give you game 2, all right.
We're just gonna get Alan Wake. We're just gonna get a Max
Probably.
Payne crossover.
Let's get to one more character. We have 2 more, actually.
Ooh.
The head of the Panopticon, Frederick Langston, who I love.
I love Langston.
I love Langston. He's so funny.
He actually gets to have personality.
Yeah.
And they did something really important with him. And granted, this happened in AWE, but there were a couple times where he would talk to her through the intercom, and they would have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, guys, why didn't you just do this the entire time? Like, put a walkie-talkie on so they can guide Jesse through what's going on.
Yeah.
Actually builds character. Anyway, I like Lynx, but tell me why you like Lynx, and what's your word for him?
Oblivious. I feel
That's a good word.
we'll talk about it after your word. It's like his first mission, but
I feel like my word's not very good, but like quirky.
that's another
Kind of
word
like
I
an
had written
outcast,
down.
you know?
Yeah.
Quirky, outcast, like...
He's a
People
nervous
don't understand
fellow.
him.
He's a nervous fellow.
He is a nervous fellow.
But I love...
He's like a small dog.
He is. He's like a little puppy dog who just wants to please everybody by pleasing...
But also doesn't give a crap.
He doesn't give a crap. He only cares about himself. But the first mission, Fridge Duty, is such a great mission. He forgets that one of his guys is up there with an object of power by himself.
I know. Like this dude.
He's like, she like says his name, and he's like, "Who are you talking about?" Oh no, he's been there for a day.
No.
Yeah, he's awesome. He is one of the most interesting and original designs, I feel like, of a character. Yeah, I feel like I've met people like Langston, and I really like it. So
Me too. And I love that because you see it a lot in the game, where they're totally normal people who just happen to work at the FBC.
Yeah.
And he's like my favorite example of that, where he's like, yeah, my cat's at home. Like, I haven't fed my cat. Yeah. And he's like worried about what's going on in his apartment. And he's like, I need this job. Like, don't take this from me. Don't fire me.
What an odd
he's
guy
like, I have like loans.
to be the head of the Panopticon.
I know. It's like hilarious. He says he just like worked his way into the position because like the last one died or something. He's just like, I just fell into this. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But he is exactly what I wanted from like all the characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did with him to make him stick out more to me, but I just like Langston. And I felt like Jesse and him had a rapport.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they grew a relationship somehow. And I don't know how they
I feel like he,
do that
out
with
of
the
all
others?
of them, had a real side quest mission. Because you had to get
That's
all
true.
of his objects of power that were running away.
Chris, they're altered items.
Oh, sorry, altered items.
Can you calm down?
Sorry.
That's right.
Um,
But but side missions, man. We got to say something about side missions. I knew it, but say what you were going to say, but after that we got to talk about side missions.
yeah. Well,
A quick one. Just not going in depth, but just a quick aside about them.
yeah. Please.
I think I'm realizing my favorite stories, because I love the stories in this game, but none of them really had to do with like the characters we're talking about, except maybe Langston. And that's because the side missions in this game are fantastic.
They are.
The way you stumble upon them like organically, and you as the director actually try to help people. Because even though we were hard on Jessie for being kind of cardboardy, she has this really good Samaritan vibe to her. She just wants to help people, and she's just kind, and she, more than anything, she wants to be of service.
It's her job.
Even in her...
It's her job.
Yeah, right? It's
She
like,
wants
it's
to
my
be the
job.
best
I
she
help
can.
people. So I really like that about Jessie, and it's really endearing. And that's the only reason she gets into these side missions is because she sees someone in need and she helps them. So I like that.
No, you're right.
But those are the best stories.
I totally agree with you. The searching for the altered items, doing all of Ahti's weird maintenance stuff so that he can go on vacation, like talking to the plants and whatnot.
Oh my gosh. Dude, talking to the plants was genuinely good.
Oh, it's genius. It was
That was the most character growth I saw in Jessie in the whole game was
Yeah.
when she talked to the plants.
she starts having like actual conversations with them.
Yeah.
I'm glad we both like Langston because I
love
him.
I forgot about him. I'm sorry, Langston.
It's fine. And then the last character, head of research, Dr. Casper Darling. What is your one word for Casper Darling?
Wacky.
Aspiration.
Hello. Interesting. I like Dr. Darling. You never talk to him. Well, I mean, he technically talks to you through the hotline, but I like Darling a lot.
I love
He's a
Darling.
wacky boy. I love his videos. Like, they're so awkward. It's great.
Well, I feel like you get the most information out of all of his little videos in the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
And he is the same voice actor of Alan Wake,
Oh, yeah, I read that. I forgot about that.
which is kind of interesting. So you have a guy who is Max Payne and a guy who's Alan Wake playing different characters. It's kind of cool that they keep their posse close, you know.
Well, Courtney Hope was a main character in Quantum Break.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she was the main chick.
You're right. Well, I never played that game, so.
I didn't either, but I researched it for this game.
Well,
So,
good for you. I'm glad you did a little
I don't have an
research.
Xbox, so I couldn't play
What's that like, Josh? And honestly, I have him written down as the narrator.
I could see that. If you ignore Jessie's ceaseless...
talking of herself.
Yes. I love Dr.
I
Darling.
love.
He's hilarious.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing from Dr. Darling? Because I have one that's very specific.
This is cheating, but it's his Dynamite music video.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that, dude. I never watched it my first playthrough. Like I didn't even realize it was there, and then I watched the entirety of it, like playing it again.
It's good.
It's so good.
Dr. Darling is awesome, and he really has range because you see him in like the Dynamite music video, but you also see the video where he's like in his underwear crying for like a minute and a half. You know, like it's really fascinating to see him break down, and he's kind of like the true hero of the game. You know,
sure.
like he sacrifices his sanity and his like body, his like corporeal
His
essence in order to save the oldest house. You know,
Yeah.
like it's assumed that he's in a different dimension right now, but
Maybe he joined the board.
he could have joined the board. Maybe he is Ahti. Maybe we're Ahti.
Whoa, deep.
Whoa, deep, bro. But yeah, he's cool, man. And I want to go back on what I said in the beginning, that I don't like the characters in this game. What I mean is, they're all really effective characters that have character. I just don't like the way they interface with Jessie most of the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the reason that is because I can hear Jessie's thoughts. Like, I want to see them have a conversation. like I would see people having a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Right?
That makes sense.
Like, and I wish that I could see her develop a relationship with them through gameplay, but we generally don't see that. We're just told they have a relationship.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I agree. Before we move on to the next portion of this episode, I'd like to say that I feel like, besides Marshall, I feel like Marshall being so dull and generic makes the other side characters shine more. Because you are deprived really of character in a lot of these and throughout this game. Besides the oldest house, like you said, which for sure is the best character in the game. Even maybe not so much Polaris, because Polaris is basically just Jesse's consciousness. But
yeah, this is true.
Jessie is a great vessel for the player, I feel like.
She is.
She doesn't. Yeah, she explains her intentions or her lack of intentions to herself and basically to us, but she's kind of a blank slate besides that. So it's kind of nice for the player. You can kind of put yourself in her shoes a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
I do like it when she comments on things in the DLCs a lot more than when she comments on things in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you mentioned earlier. Like, I really thought it was funny when she walks into the Fra Maro AWE, and she's like, the moon landing, I knew they faked it, and she like starts talking about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It's just because it's like her character. Like, it makes sense that of course she would believe in all the conspiracy theories. And it's just like, why didn't we have a little bit more of that? A little bit more humor.
The funny thing is, okay, so before we get into the sectors, what's your favorite line in the game? Do you have a favorite line?
It's gotta be the Ahti line where he's like, you got piss in your sock. Like, it's just so weird. Like, what's he saying?
Yeah.
Probably that. I just think it's so funny. Whenever I hear it, I just laugh. You got piss in your sock.
One of them for me is it's in the Foundation when she's talking to the former, and she's like, "Oh, I'd like a sandwich," and it tells her that he can't make her a sandwich, so she's like, "Oh, okay, sure." But my favorite is from the very end of the game. Once you beat it, she's like, "Shawshank Redemption." That was the movie.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That makes me laugh out loud every time. Like, because it always comes out of nowhere, and like it reminds you from the very beginning. And that is like when her character starts having character at the very end.
Good, right in time.
Right in time.
Right on time.
This is what I was looking for the entire time while playing this. But I feel like it's time to move on to the areas.
I agree.
Some of these are going to go quicker than others. But let's just start with the executive sector. How would you describe this? How would you describe this sector?
It's a great intro to the oldest house, because I think as you go through the oldest house, it gets wackier and wackier, Like, progressively, it goes down the rabbit hole.
It's like, how does all this fit in one building in New York?
I know. Isn't it so dope?
It is dope.
I like the executive sector. It's really cool, man. There's not a lot to say about it, though. It's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
What you have here, I would describe it as very Kubrick-esque. It looks like the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. The matching carpets. Like, every room is almost color coordinated in some fashion. So you have Dead Letters, which is a great name. The Hotline Chamber, which is a very cool room. It's just like the telephone. The boardroom, the director's office, and the mailroom, which I love the mailroom.
It's cool.
So many fun fights in the mailroom with Tomasi and stuff. But you're right. It's like the executive is the shortest for sure. But it has. I feel like might have the most character. Or
I think it's emblematic of the whole game.
yeah.
And I think that the reason I'm so impressed with the executive sector is that it is so interesting, even though it's just an office building.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, there's the one room that has the sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that room. And it
I know,
looks
me
so
too.
crazy. Like, in contrast with the brown and red, it's just yellow.
Yep. I love how it's like leaking out under the door.
Yeah.
Around the doorway.
Which I have to say this. I love the collectibles in this game. And this game has such a perfect amount and consistency of collectibles.
Oh, yeah.
I love searching for them. Even when I got the trophy for collecting however many, you read them, I kept collecting them. I couldn't not collect them.
How could you not learn more?
Right?
Like, this world is fascinating, man.
It is. But I mean, that's all I have to say about executive. If you want to get into maintenance.
Yeah, let's get into maintenance.
Maintenance is it might be my least favorite out of all of them.
It's mine too.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite area.
I think the most interesting part is Black Rock Quarry.
Yeah,
which is
that's what I have written down.
Oh, okay. Which is basically like another dimension.
It's so freaking dope. You can see like the freaking stars.
Yeah,
like,
you can see
through the Black
like,
Rock Quarry.
The cosmos and these floating
Even though it's like
monoliths.
a basement. I know, it's so cool. Just like the level and world design in this game is incredible.
It really is.
I wish I could go back to a time when I hadn't played this game so I could play it again. Just to be blown away by its environments, you know?
For sure. But there's other parts of the maintenance sector that's really important, like it is how you get to the foundation, and it is
That's
where
true.
the foundation is of the oldest house. And you also have the janitor's office and Ahti's vacation painting.
Ah, yes, of course. Perkele.
I do like that Ahti is behind a poster of Ahti when you first like see him in his office. I wonder what.
I didn't even realize this.
Yeah,
That's
like
dope.
when you open the door, it's like there's a poster of him mopping, and then you open the door and he's there mopping.
What's behind?
So
the
they must be
poster?
saying that he's not real or something. I don't know. I forgot what the whole.
Whereas
poster
reality
thing is.
behind the poster,
Oh,
Chris.
you're right.
That's where the real world is. Otherwise, it's just a cell. But on the other side of the poster is the real world, and you gotta take down the poster to see what's really there. Haven't you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I have with Andy Dufresne.
Ah,
But that's all I have to say about maintenance. Like, it's pretty, like we said, Black Rock is the most interesting part about it. But it's pretty generic. It's just like cement.
I wish they'd done a little more with it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Because
I really like it.
with the mold. When the mold is introduced,
Yes.
you do a little bit more stuff there, and you see the mold growing everywhere. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty bland. Kind of depressing. Feels almost like a prison.
Like a prison cell
Yeah.
with a poster on the wall.
Well, let's get into.
No, I
sorry.
agree. No, I would agree.
Let's get into like probably I think my favorite one, the research sector.
I like the research
I
sector.
love this one. You want me to tell you
It's
what?
probably my favorite.
You want me to tell you what you got in here?
Tell me what we get.
You got central research. You got the pit, which is all the mold. You have parapsychology, the HRA lab, astral exhibition with the spike, the astral spike, which I thought was
Like
really
the really
cool.
cheap,
Yeah.
really cheap representation. Like a wooden. That's great.
Yeah, the
I like that
ordinary AWE and the wait, no, that's in the containment sector.
That's
My
some
bad.
containment crap.
My bad. the Synchronicity Lab, which you fight the reverse Jesse. Asej. And then obviously the Ashtray Maze is in here. The Hedron Lab is here. And the Luck and Probability sector is in here.
Yeah.
Which I love that one. Talk to me about research, man.
Research has the coolest stuff.
It's definitely the most varied. Like, each sector is so different to the next, you know? Or from the next.
I think it might be the most beautiful. Because, man, it's so open and vertical, and it's so cool.
Yeah, that, like first central research with the trees in it is so cool.
Giant, like, redwoods growing in the middle of the room. And, like, it's, like, 3 or 4 stories that you can go up and down, and there's, like, stuff on every floor, and it just... This is the other thing that's really incredible. Even though the oldest house is totally fantastical, it is such a realistic place.
Yeah.
Like, everything is where it should be. There's bathrooms on every floor.
The cafeteria.
There's a food court on the bottom. Yeah, like, there's, like, you know, the nice plants and, like, water features, and there's offices everywhere, and it just feels real. It feels like an actual place, which is incredible because it's obviously not a real place. You know what I mean?
For sure. It feels like a giant science exhibit that you would go to as a kid. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. I mean...
But I love all the places you said. I love all the places you mentioned, so...
Yeah, like, I feel like the pit is probably my least favorite one out of all of them. Like, I gotta say this, I hate the mold. I'll get that off my chest.
They're cool, but I hate fighting them unless I'm literally fully leveled. Like,
plus, they're kind of just the cordyceps from The Last of Us, but...
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
They look just like them.
They do look just like them. They're kind of cool, though.
Yeah, they're cool.
I do like their origin and, like, how they're made. I think that's pretty cool.
I do like, what was it, Mold 1?
Mold 1 is pretty cool.
But... I don't know. I love the Synchronicity Lab with the mirrors and stuff. I thought that was a pretty cool puzzle. You have to, like, try to figure out how to open up the windows.
To see what it wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the mirror... Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to explain how it works? It's kind of wild.
I don't even know how to explain it. The mirror, so if you look at it, it's reverse of what you think it should be, right? Like when you're doing that puzzle.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you look in the mirror, it's not reflecting reality.
Yeah. Like, that's right. It just wants to... It sees what it wants to see almost.
Yeah, it's like reflecting what it wants you to do. So it's kind of cool. You have to, like, do what it wants, and then it'll open or something.
And then you have that pretty dang cool boss fight with the Sedge.
It's super cool.
Actually, this is one thing... This game is pretty... there's parts of this game that are pretty scary.
Yeah, dude.
And, like, that's kind of a scary...
parts.
That's a spooky part when you're finding a Sedge, like, popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
You get a really cool outfit after you beat her, too. Which...
Yes, you do.
I know that you got.
Yeah.
I forgot it after I beat her, so... Because it's just on a mannequin, so if you're not looking for it, you'll just pass it.
This playthrough, I forgot it until the end of the game. And then I was like, why don't I have this costume? And then I went back and got it.
Nice. And then obviously you got the Ashtray Maze.
So cool.
So amazing.
So fun.
Best part of the game?
I don't know. Up there. Certainly up there. It's one of the best parts. Like top 3. Easily.
Like, I wish I could just play a game that's just the Ashtray Maze.
It's so cool with, like, the music and, like, it's so wild and, like, everything is, like, opening up in front of you. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I agree with you. What do you think about luck and probability?
That's my favorite part.
I love luck and probability.
Yeah. Did you get the suit?
I did.
Good boy.
Although, I'll say this much. I got it on my own the first time I played the game. I don't know what was wrong with me. The first time I played this game, all the puzzles, I, like, got like that. Like, I just intuitively understood them.
Yes.
This time, I never understood a single puzzle. Like, having already done them, I had to, like, look them up.
I agree. Because I got this on my first playthrough also. The one with Marshall in like doing the symbols and stuff was so easy the first time. I felt like an idiot. Playing this.
I'm so glad that you feel the same way, because I was like, I did this perfectly the first time. Like, why can't I do it? I've already beaten this.
And there's so many like obvious answers to the puzzles.
And you're like,
just thinking too hard, I guess.
No, I know. I was like, I didn't look anything up my first playthrough, but this time I was looking stuff up almost every other puzzle.
Me too.
I'm so glad.
The luck and probability one is so cool because it's like you put the horseshoe up, you make sure the cat is waving, you pick the four-leaf clover, you put the golden fish down the carpet, and the whole goal is to get your get sevens every time, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
On like the blackjack table or whatever.
And all those things will increase your odds.
Yeah. So if you just do that, you'll get this golden suit, which is amazing. I played the entire game with the suit.
It's a good suit, man.
It is a great suit.
We'll have to talk about costumes later, but that's a good costume.
I think it's time to move on to the containment sector.
I agree.
Which is interesting.
I like containment. I think the three things we would need to talk about are like the Panopticon, the ordinary AWE, and the Prime Candidate program, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
If you had to describe the containment sector in one word, what would you use?
Labyrinth.
Yeah, dude. Gosh.
Just trying to navigate the Panopticon to get to the right floor where the right AWE will be, or the right object of the right altered item where it would be, took me forever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I got used to it. Like so the best thing about playing this game on PS5 is the loading times between fast travel. I fast traveled so much in this version compared to my original time.
Me too. I would like refuse to fast travel. I would walk because I hated fast traveling, but I fast traveled all the time in this game.
When you're fast traveling especially the Panopticon, it's a second. Not even a second.
It literally just loads immediately.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's crazy. I noticed that too. I'm so glad you noticed that.
But yeah, tell me about like what's your word for containment?
Probably labyrinth as well. I mean, it's like it's cool that these buildings are real and that they feel real, but it's also super annoying when you can't find your way somewhere because it is like a real building, you know? Sometimes it's a great strength to the game that there's no dotted line to follow, but sometimes it's really frustrating when it doesn't tell you like how to get somewhere.
Yeah, or at least a general direction.
Yeah, like, because it'll show you like yellow on the map. It'll highlight the entire sector, essentially. But like, you need to go to this general area. And like, I don't know. There were a lot of times I was lost and didn't understand that I had to complete a side mission first.
Yes.
Or that I had to... Like, there's this one where there's a small room high above like a turntable. And you can float up to it, but you can't get in through the window. And the only way to get into that room is by going to the other side of the sector and going through a long series of hallways.
Yeah, or there's even one for the altered item quest line, or to get the Chinese lantern. You can't get through it by any normal means. You have to start another side quest, which will take you to another dimension.
Yep.
And then
before you can open the freaking door.
And then you come up behind the altered item. It doesn't tell you that or explain it.
Yeah, it should just tell you, like, you need to do this other side quest first.
I will say that's a great side
mission. I probably spent 30 minutes to an hour looking for an entrance to get in there because I really wanted to finish that side quest, but I couldn't.
Yeah, you had to get, like, halfway through the game and then try to do it.
And I feel like a lot of these frustrating experiences with the map happen in the containment sector.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, even the other one I was talking about, where there's the small room above the turnstile, that's in the containment sector. That's near the ordinary AWE.
Yeah, the turnstile, or in the transit corridor, Forget about it.
Forget about it. I know.
My next,
But a cool place.
Very cool place. I love the ordinary AWE. That whole fight in there is awesome. With the replicas of the entire town.
So cool.
It is very cool. And then they got the entire like waste landfill.
Yeah, they got the dump. That's
inside
so
the
dope.
room. Which is just like, that's how crazy they get with these objects of power and stuff and these AWEs. They bring entire places into this building. How did they do it?
I think that is so true.
How did they do it?
I don't know, Chris.
Well,
apparently they use the subway system.
Yeah. I love how Jessie recognizes it as her landfill. Like, who would like, oh, this is from Ordinary.
Oh, this is the dump.
Is there anything else to talk about containment?
Not really. I mean, but I will say that I do love stuff like that, moments like that when you're like, oh my gosh, they literally reconstructed the town and they brought the dump.
Yeah.
Because it just shows like the extravagance and the power of the FBC.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool.
It is very cool.
There's not really a whole lot to say about the Prime Candidate program, but I will say that
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I love they have the P6 cell or room, and then they already have the P7. Like, before Jessie's even in the bureau, like, in the building, they have the room with all of the stuff that they, like, spied on her, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
creepy.
It's pretty cool. You get her P7 suit in there as well.
Her PJs.
Her little PJs. You can be twins with your brother.
Yay. What does he say? The something is a worm in your ear.
Yeah, something weird.
A song that you can't forget. Anyways. But I will say I think some of my favorite like memos and like whatever's, collectibles are in this section, especially learning about what happens in Ordinary.
Yeah.
It's like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened there is freaking wild. And learning about how they spied on Jessie and all the documents you read in the Panopticon. I love that as you go through the game, even in the DLCs, you're finding these case files on altered items, and you can go to the Panopticon and see all the altered items.
Yeah. It's
like, that's so cool.
The rubber ducky and stuff. And
yeah, it's like collecting trading cards, but then you can go see what the trading cards are of.
Yeah.
Like, it was just cool to have read about the rubber ducky before I saw the rubber ducky, Or after I fought the former in the fridge, I then found a document about the fridge like 6 hours later.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool.
It is
the
really
continuity of the world is incredible.
It's so disjointed but connected at the same time.
It's like real life.
It's like real life. Wow. I like it.
I love it.
But I feel like it's a good time to move on to talking about our enemies, the Hiss. / Molt. / Astral Spikes and Formers.
And former. Yes.
I'm just going to run through these Hiss, if you don't mind.
You go ahead, man.
And
you're going to charge
we'll just
through.
quickly talk about them.
I love it.
And the Hiss Guard, the normal security guys, I feel
losers.
They're losers, but they are perfect fodder for you to do whatever you want to them. Like,
you monster.
They're so, like, it's so much fun to use all of your powers on them because they die so fast. You feel so powerful.
Oh, yeah.
It's
anything
awesome.
You do will kill them.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Having said that, how do you feel that this game handles power, and how do you feel power as a player when you play this game?
I feel so powerful in this game.
I finally feel like a man.
I have transcended into godhood.
Like almost.
No, like
though, yeah.
honestly though, I feel like I want every game that has powers to feel like this.
Oh yeah,
it feels so good.
Feels so good.
It feels so good. I love just levitating and throwing things at people, throwing people at people. It's so good. It's so good.
Combat has never felt better in almost any other game.
Honestly. Like, the shooting
Like,
might be a little... It takes a little to get used to, I think, for me at least. But, and I feel like they could have done a quicker way of switching between multiple service weapons, because you can only have 2 at a time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, once you get into the rhythm of the game, you start feeling like a god. Like, nothing's gonna stop you. Like, even the biggest enemies, like the hiss warped or the troopers, are nothing. But little snowflakes under your boot. You know,
they're your playthings, man.
Honestly.
Oh, it's so good.
And there's only one thing that you can't kill, and it's just because you just can't kill it. But yeah, I love the powers.
It is amazing. It's like the biggest power trip I've ever had. It's like playing this game. Like, remember that clip I showed you when I was using like the shatter, which is a shotgun essentially. And like, you shoot one, you like throw his dead body into 2 other dudes. You like, it's just like incredible.
It's
like,
incredible.
It's a Jedi simulator. What being a Jedi should actually be like. Could you imagine like the Force Unleashed with the controls of this game?
Whoa, dude, yeah, for sure.
It's literally that. It's amazing.
Oh
my gosh.
I'm glad we agree on this.
Me too.
Let's talk about the Hiss Elevated. You remember what they are?
They're the ones who float around with a shield, but they're not in the chair.
Well, they're the same thing. Just some of them are in chairs.
Whatever. Just kidding. Sounds good. So like Tomasi, he's a Hiss Elevated.
I feel like they're really good rivals for Jessie. Like, starting out like contemporary for her.
They can screw you up.
Really, honestly.
Like any enemy can, though. That's the
Plus
thing.
The thing about, like, they have...
This game's really well designed.
Yeah.
In regards to combat.
They have 2 of Jessie's powers. So they can be pretty difficult at times. Especially when you don't have one of those powers for the longest time. Which is levitate.
Yes, game.
Or elevate. Or whatever it's called. I love the design of... I mean, this entire game, obviously. Characters
Every
and
enemy
all.
is so cool.
And the enemies, yeah.
And their powers are really well designed too. Like, even apart just from the way they look, which of course is super cool. The idea that first you're introduced to people on the ground that can shoot you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you shoot them back.
Yeah.
Well, then you get these guys that are flying and they can hurl rocks at you like you can, right? So it's like you can't just crouch behind cover. You learn like, oh crap, I need to keep moving. And I need to prioritize enemies. And oh my gosh, so complicated and so...
Perfect. And then quickly is the Hiss Charged, which are the ones that blow up next to you, who can also fly.
Very interesting.
I feel like they're good. I almost look at these first 3 enemies as like a 2D side scroller. And here's the ones that are just here. You just have to jump over them and they'll blow up or they'll pass you, you know? They're good obstacles for combat. Like, you're not really fighting them. You're either dealing with them or just getting away from them.
Yeah, because they make you move. Like, you can't just, stay behind cover because they'll come and blow up on you.
But for me, they're one of the greatest tools in combat because you can use them to blow up other enemies.
I know, they're literally grenades. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're I don't know. I just love all these enemies.
They do make a really annoying noise, though.
Yes.
Especially when you can't find one, because it's like stuck on terrain like 2 floors below you, and it's just screaming for like 30 minutes. That happened to me when I was doing one of the clear the mold missions. So I was just trying to find mold, and he like spawned a floor below me, and I just couldn't find him. He was just like screaming at me.
Dude,
it was the worst.
The mold side quest where you have to like clear the patches of mold off the walls.
Gosh.
Especially in the maintenance sector. Oh my gosh.
Did you had trouble with them?
So much trouble.
I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them, Chris.
I had to look it up for the maintenance sector. Even though
Me
it's
too.
like, I swore I looked right there for like 10 minutes.
I know. I literally watched the same video like 3 times. I'm like, I just
Was
did
the
that.
one in
I
the
just looked. It's
corner?
not there.
The one in the corner
I
that's
think so.
like in between the cement and the rock.
Dude, I don't even know. I don't. But the thing is this. I had to look up the guide for it, right, in the PS5 version.
Mm-hmm.
I went back in the PS4 version to do it again, and I needed a guide again because I couldn't find them at the second time.
It's annoying.
It's not a fun mission.
Here's another annoying one. The hiss warped.
Oh, man. Are they the... They're not the rock guys, are they?
They're the rock guys. They're the ones
Okay,
that
the
have
rock
like
guys.
the force field and they throw things at you. They become
Yes.
really easy later on, but for a good little while, they're pretty tough sometimes. Like they're a good challenge for sure.
If you don't have good launch, it's pretty hard
Yeah,
until you get further along.
and
You're
like,
pretty much screwed if you haven't invested in like the correct stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, and if you're not using Pierce, it can be pretty tough too.
Interesting. I don't think I ever used Pierce. I've used Pierce once or twice for board countermeasures.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
excited.
I'm excited to hear what you used.
Yeah, me too. Quickly, we got the Hiss Trooper, which is the Gatling gun dude who throws grenades at you.
Yes.
Or they have grenade launchers. They're
They're fine.
they're fine.
They're kind of cool.
They're just juggernauts.
They're like-
from like Modern Warfare.
Stupid Remedy. Playing Modern Warfare 3 over there. It is, though.
Then you got the Hiss Distorted. Which, do you remember these guys?
Yes.
They're the invisible ones that like turn to butterflies.
That is, yes.
Like demonic butterflies.
They're really weird.
Yeah,
and very annoying.
they're really annoying, but like they're interesting. I forgot. I should have read up like what they're supposed to be from. I don't want to talk about the Distorted anymore.
I don't either.
We got the Rangers, which are like the beefier guard. I love their design. They're usually like wearing capes and
They're
stuff.
so cool.
They're really
They remind
cool.
me of the Order 1886.
Exactly.
And Killzone if Killzone was good.
And a little bit of Death Stranding in there, like
Yeah.
Higgs a little bit. They're really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They look like stormtroopers, honestly. Like
They're freaking dope.
they're really cool. And I like that
I love how they're like smart. They're smart, man. They'll like rush you and they'll flank you.
They're
And
smart. They're just a little bit more challenging than the guard. So it's like it's a little bit harder, but still as fun to fight them and to
Mm-hmm.
just destroy them. And then we got like this
And
really. Oh, sorry.
So and you could say this for most of them, but especially the Rangers. I love how they run at you, and they're like fast and effective, but they're like so like shambling and they're like disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not fully in control of their bodies.
Yeah.
They did a really good job, which is the animations where they're like, you can tell they're not people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So it's really effective. They did a really good job.
Really good.
Really good.
And then there's the rarest enemy in the game, the snipers.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen 3 of them.
They're like a cool enemy, but I hated the ones because okay, so board countermeasures are this thing where you can get a weapon mod or you can get a reward if you do a specific task or you use a special weapon to do a certain thing. Anyways, a lot of the board countermeasures for some reason were like kill 5 Hiss snipers in the containment sector. And I just knew that would take the entire game. It took me 6 hours to kill 7 of 8. And I never found an 8th, Chris.
Why didn't you just cancel it?
I did, but the thing is, I was so close. Like, every time I was about to cancel it, I would find a Hiss sniper.
Legit, I would accept and cancel so many just to get to the easy ones.
I did that too after I realized that the sniper was never coming.
He was never coming.
Then I switched.
There was one where it was
He's
like,
not gonna
it was
show
legit
up.
kill 3 of them in the executive sector. And I was like, nope, not going to do it.
I was like, hilarious.
I'd rather kill
You've never
25
spawned
guard.
3 in the executive sector.
Or kill like 10 of them with Pierce or Shatter or something, you know?
Like, yeah, I hated the ones that were about killing special enemies.
In
'Cause,
special areas.
I know. It was like, kill 3 hiss warped in the logistics room. And you're like what?
I agree.
If you could spawn like 1 hiss warped there, that'd be great.
Honestly. But yeah, I have no real impressions of the snipers because I never was able to really fight them. I think I remember 2 areas, like legit. I can only remember 2 encounters with a sniper.
I had a bunch in Foundation and a couple in Research. Mm-hmm. That's where I noticed them. But it's not very often. They're pretty rare, like you said. They're kind of cool. I wish you could get a sniper. I guess you kind of have a sniper. You have Pierce.
Yeah.
Not that sniping makes sense in this game, but
this is true. But like their designs, like their snipers are cool looking. They have these giant scopes or laser beams or whatever they are.
Giant flashlights to tell you where they are. Thank you.
It's like Black Ops Cold War. They have like great line of sight now.
Heck yeah. They're a cool enemy though. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you got this really gamey one. The hiss clusters, the one that heals all the hiss. I like them a lot. I really like them. Me too.
I'm glad you like them. They're cool.
They are really cool.
Did you ever corrupt one or whatever?
No.
What's it called? Seize. Did you ever seize one?
You can seize them?
Yeah, dude. And they'll heal you and all your allies.
Dude, I did not know that. Dope. That's amazing.
It turns blue.
Really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I almost want to just like play the game again just to do that. I never thought about that. But that goes into
it's weird because it doesn't.
I never use C's.
I almost never did.
Oh, okay.
So I found that out almost by accident because I was trying to level up everything at the end of the game because you have to use 100 ability points. And I didn't care about melee damage. I was like, I'd rather have C's, right? Anyways, one of the last things is that you can seize large enemies. And it's technically a large enemy.
Yeah.
It considers it that. So then you can seize it and it heals you.
That's why I never saw it because I never maxed out C's.
It's good. It's good.
That's so cool, though. I'm glad that's a thing.
Me too.
Yeah, you get the astral.
That's like the last enemy.
Yeah,
well, I guess the spikes.
You got
but
do
they really count?
No, they're scary. Like they're frightening to be around. Like I want to run away. It's like that. I forgot which podcast we were talking about it. Where when you turn off the light,
it was on Jaws.
And you try to like run out of the room before the lights turn off. That's how I felt with them.
It's like. Have you ever like run away from something and at first you're like confident, like, yeah, I'm running away.
Yeah.
But then like something brushes your foot and you're like,
yeah, for sure.
Engage freaking hyperdrive.
Dude, like, I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if someone hasn't had a seizure over these guys.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, you should.
Many people have died.
Have, like, epilepsy at all, like, you should not be playing this game.
Oh, no. I feel like I developed epilepsy because of this
Honestly.
game. Like, this game is ridiculous. And it's one of those things where I'm running in front of it and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not scared. And then it like gets you and you're like, ooh. And you like start to run. You're panicking.
Yeah.
They're cool enemies.
Yeah,
although you can't do anything to them. You can't
fight them.
So.
They're obstacles. But they're just frightening.
They're very frightening.
We already talked.
Oh my gosh, did you read the thing about how the astral spike first came into our dimension?
No.
Dude, it's freaking creepy. So it's in the medical wing, and it's really weird because the way the documents work is they're totally random. So like the first document I read on him, on how it came, was actually in like the investigation sector, and then the last one I read was in the medical sector or the medical wing of the containment sector.
Yeah. Anyway,
so there's this guy who I think his name was like James. Who knows? He came back from an astral expedition because they were exploring the astral plane, and he felt sick and he had like a migraine, and it's a voice recording. So it's a female doctor, like interviewing this guy who's talking about having head pain. And they're like, okay, well, we're just going to put him in confinement for, a couple hours to keep him under observation. And then like in the middle of a word, he starts like moaning and like screaming. And then you hear this like awful sound. And she starts screaming that something has come out of his chest and his like head, like burst from his body. And it's an astral spike.
Oh my gosh.
So it bursts and like crashes through his head and he like dies, obviously. Yeah. And that's how astral spikes first came into our dimension, was through getting into his head. Then from his head it exploded out.
That's terrible.
Isn't that terrifying? Pretty cool though. It's stuff like that. Stuff like that where stories that are like interesting, but like you don't have to read them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes this game so great.
Yeah. It's all optional.
It's all
You
optional.
get
Thank you, Remedy.
what you put in. You get out what you put in. We already talked about the mold, but we can talk about mold 1 a bit if you want.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about mold in general.
Yeah, talk to me.
I really like the things like the voice memos that you find of the team that went down there, the expedition,
Yeah.
and about how they like slowly descend into madness because they eat the mold because it smells like so tasty to them.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
That's so cool.
It is really
Like,
cool.
what a cool idea of like a way to spread the virus.
Uh-huh.
That's fascinating.
It is.
Or not virus, I guess it's a mold.
Yeah.
It's a fungus. But
Like
really cool.
cordyceps.
Like cordyceps. It doesn't taste good though, Chris.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, it's really cool.
And mold 1 for me was a little generic of a boss fight. Do you remember mold 1?
It was really hard in PS4. I don't think I beat it.
So easy on PS5.
On PS5, I think it literally took 5 seconds, Chris.
Same.
Like,
Same.
I was so overpowered though by the time I got there. I'd like destroyed Mold 1.
Yeah. It was one of the last things I did.
Yeah, me too. It was like one of my last trophies.
Yeah. But talking
Cool,
about
though.
things that were hard on PS4 and super easy on PS5, let's talk about Former.
Dude, why couldn't we do this? Like,
Former took
I remember
me like,
calling you and complaining about
It
Former.
took me like 10 times on PS4. It took me once.
Me too.
Like, I
Both times I fought him.
don't understand. Yeah, that's right. You fight him twice. Both times. Took me one shot.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy Perkele. Dude, I don't know why we couldn't beat him on PS4. I don't know what our problem was.
I
Cool
don't
boss, though.
Huh?
This game has great bosses.
Oh, it does, for sure.
Especially the Former.
Farmer reminds me of Inside. A lot of this game reminds me of Inside. With the color
I could see
palette,
that. Yeah.
the odd dystopian gray nature of it all, and a lot of the designs of some of these bosses. Specifically Former, though. It just has like the one
love
giant
Former.
eye and stuff like that.
Like, it goes in it. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And it's like a big bug. And I love Former.
It's very cool. And then the last one, the Anchor. I mean, we could also talk about Tomasi and the other guy, but they're basically just the regular enemies. Except for
But on steroids.
yeah, I heard Tomasi was really hard for some people. Tomasi was easy peasy.
Easy peasy Perkele. Tomasi was the reason I didn't platinum the game the first time.
Really?
So on PS4, he was really hard.
He was super easy on PS5. Like, I killed him in a few seconds.
No, me too. On PS5, I beat him, I think, either my first or second try, and it was not hard.
No.
Because when I died, it was because of a his distorted, my first time. I remember that.
Yeah, because
It just opened up and killed me.
yeah, the Distorted are there for some awful reason.
And even, this is the thing, even after you kill Tomasi, you still have to kill all of the
You have
other
to kill
enemies in the
everything
room.
else. Yeah, it's pretty lame.
So annoying. I hate that. I hate that when that isn't a game.
Me too.
Bad game designers.
Bad. Speaking of which, the Anchor has that as well. It has tons of elevated and charged that are very annoying because so like how you defeat this boss is you have to go around the room and throw these clocks into its mouth when it opens up, but like if you're there for too long, it shoots you very much like the Distorted, and it could almost kill you in one hit. It brings you down to 1 HP.
Interesting. I was never hit by it.
It's awful when you're hit by it. Terrible.
Did you ever just use the shield?
No.
I forgot to use the shield 99% of the time that I definitely should have.
Me too.
But I hear it's useful.
Yeah.
I started using it at the end of the game, and I was like,
I legit use the shield just to kill people with it for the trophy.
me
That's
too.
the only time I ever use the
Pretty
shield.
much. There's a lot of abilities in this game that I thought were useless until my PS5 playthrough.
Yeah.
And then I used them at the end, and I was like, oh, these are good?
I should use
You know what I
this.
mean?
Yeah.
I know.
I like I love that whole side mission with the anchor and the clocks and stuff, and how these clocks just start pouring into rooms and killing people. It just shows you
That's
how
what I love about it, man.
bizarre this game can get in like the world of this game. Like
It's
that
so wacky. I love it.
these soldiers are like looking for something, and then all of a sudden these clocks just like pouring through the room and legit kill everyone.
Yeah, dude. They gotta evacuate. It's killing everyone.
But yeah, the
It
clocks,
was hilarious.
the clocks really hurt if you're hit by them.
Don't get hit by a clock.
Don't do
It's
it.
about time.
Let's see, really quick here. Oh, we're only
That
at
is,
an hour
I think,
52.
the last. Oh, heck yeah.
Right on.
We can talk about the DLCs.
We can
then.
talk about the DLCs.
I like how we're like, there's only 2 hours. We could do another 2 hours about the DLCs. It's fun.
I have a lot less to say about the DLCs, and I'm glad because I've been talking a lot. So,
Well, good. Shut up. Get out of my seat. Just kidding.
so do you want to do the 3 enemies while we're here, or just move on?
I just don't. Just throw
Okay.
the enemies in there.
So, in the DLCs, in the Foundation, which actually, I forgot there's 3 DLCs in this game.
There's 3?
The first one's Expeditions, and that's the jukebox.
That's the jukebox?
Yeah.
I didn't even touch the jukebox in my
neither.
PS5 playthrough.
It's basically
You couldn't
just
even
a challenge,
find it.
like a challenge mode. Yeah, I still can't find it.
Oh my gosh. It's right there. That's interesting. So there's 2 challenge modes. There's Shoom and there's this.
Oh,
Did you play Shoom?
I did not play Shoom. Is Shoom the jukebox?
Oh, you didn't play Shoom. No. Shoom is the arcade machines. They're in AWE.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember
They're
Shoom.
alright. Shoom and Shoom 2.
Yeah, Shoom was fun. But his Sharpened is in the Foundation.
I like 'em.
I like them. They're just like they're like the psychos in Borderlands.
Yeah.
They know
They're a really good addition to the gameplay.
yeah, they will mess you up if they get close to you.
And I like that they have dodge, you know. I like it when the enemies have some of her abilities.
Yeah,
It talks about it too in the case files that they're learning them from fighting Jesse.
really.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Pretty cool.
No, I really like them. They're like when they're in a group of like more than one, they're pretty hard. Like they can really kill you fast, and they rush you, and they just do not care. It's really
They'll
nice.
screw you up. They're cool.
And then there's the Dark Hiss, which are like those zombies that will like almost kill you in one hit. The like
Did I somehow miss this?
they're like the skinny, very dark, almost like zombies
like
from
the-
Zelda.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's
Is it from AWE or from
This
Foundation?
is from Foundation. Like when you're in the caves and stuff.
Oh, are you talking about...
Those really slow
Are they
ones.
the id? The id?
Is that what they're called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like there's
Skinny black ones?
like some of them
Like the ones you
float.
fight in the astral plane?
Oh, is that what that is? No, they don't use guns in the Foundation. They're very slow, and like you have to use the light to make them not attack you.
Now I'm so baffled. What?
Did
I totally miss this?
Did you do the side mission with the TV in the Foundation?
No. I probably didn't.
Oh,
Oh, were they an exclusive enemy to that
they
side
might
mission?
have been. Yeah.
That's cool. Well,
Well,
I hate myself.
they're terrifying, and like
Oh, I missed it.
it's a pretty crazy. Like the lighting used in that side mission is so well done because it's
Yeah.
scary, and like you can't see them half the time. So yeah, yeah, you should jump back in there and play that because it's really good.
Go pee my pants.
Yeah,
Get a bit
go
of
pee your pants. And then you got Hartman in
Oh, I love Hartman.
AWE.
I don't think you like Hartman.
I do like
but
Hartman.
I love Hartman.
I love Hartman. I love Hartman in the way that he's used. He's a great combat obstacle. I love how he only spawns in the shadows. So it's just something you have to. It's just more things to juggle and manage in the game. But no, if you want, would you like to start talking about the Foundation?
Sure. Do you want to talk about AWE or the Foundation first?
Foundation, because it came first.
Okay. Oh, did it? I thought it came second. Either way, let's do it. Foundation. I like the Foundation. What I like about it is I like this. I like that it feels like the story actually continues, right? Like I like the story of. I mean, what I really like about it is the former and the board and the conflict that happens between them.
Yeah.
I think that's the most interesting part of it for me. So yeah, that's what I like about it. I kind of don't love the way it looks. I kind of like it, but if it was quite easy to get lost, I don't know. I like Foundation. I didn't like how it ended, so I don't know. I don't think I'm as hot on the Foundation as you are.
I'm not hot on the Foundation.
Really? I thought you liked it. Okay.
So
Because I feel pretty mediocre about it.
It is pretty mediocre. There's a few things that are very cool, like with the whole astral plane bleeding into the world of the oldest house, and then vice versa. I wish I knew how many control points were in this, because you could get the control point trophy so fast, because there's like 30 of them, and they're all right next to each other. It was kind of stupid how many checkpoints there were.
There's too many.
There's way too many.
It was nice.
I wish there was that many in the regular game. But there's not.
Yes.
There's like one, like I love the design of being in the buildings in the Foundation. I'm not a huge fan of the red sanded caverns and the crystals and stuff like that. I love the design of the nail.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Me too.
I like there's those doors that you go into the astral plane through, which are like, they reminded me of the door in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, it does look like that. You know, it probably is Gardasil or whatever.
Probably.
Because it reminded me of God of War.
Oh.
How you fast travel.
Yeah, you're right. It totally does.
It probably literally is that. It's probably the life tree or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because there's tons of like Finnish and Norse imagery in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the roots. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I love the idea of the Foundation, but its execution is pretty poor, and really the execution is the worst part, like the very end. Like, I like how you're searching for Marshall, and I like how they're trying to give Marshall more context and more meaning to the story.
Yeah.
But then she just turns into a pretty generic boss fight.
Yeah.
Which was pretty hard, actually.
It was harder than I thought it would be.
It was harder than any of the boss fights in the main game, I felt like.
You pretty much got to be max level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I have any other notes for this.
It wasn't bad. You know,
its side quests were better than the main story, and Pope's involvement was better than the main game.
Yeah.
And this is where like you have some better writing for Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna say something?
No, but I mean, I like the exploration in the Foundation. Like, I think it's cool when you go down into the bottom of the warehouse, and I like, I don't know, finding the different locations using your powers. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad.
I do like the new power that they add. Whatever, I forgot what it's called. But reading like the making of Control, this was them testing out and just trying their hand at a Souls-like map design. where it's just
more interconnected.
You have one hub and it's interconnected. Yeah, like everything loops into itself. Which I thought was pretty cool. I kind of got that feel a teeny bit, but I don't know. It's all right.
I wonder what it is that it would need to feel more interesting. I don't know if it just needs to look different.
See, because I love, there's like, I think there's 10 or 15 hidden areas in each of the DLCs. And there's one of them that I just love. You might have found it. It's the bathroom one.
I love that one, yeah.
And when you go in the bathroom, and then
cool.
it's just like the astral plane is there.
It's pretty funny.
I wish there was more of that in the design of Foundation. And honestly, I just liked going through the Foundation buildings a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
I just love fighting
the
in
little
office
trailers in the warehouse.
Yeah, I love fighting in office buildings.
I know.
Like
me too,
the
man.
best.
I love the office
The best
buildings.
thing is dashing through glass and then throwing someone through a bunch of like tables and windows. Like,
okay, so
there's nothing better than that.
We have some friends that we hang out with usually, once or twice a week, and I don't know if they'd care if I said their names, but they come over all the time, and I was showing one of them Control, and he'd never played it before, and he hadn't played it on a PS5 for sure, and he was like, he spent probably an hour just like destroying things, like, and I can't help it. Like, if there's a bathroom, I have to go into the bathroom and destroy everything.
Yeah.
And if there's like an office and there's a projector, I have to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, I have to destroy everything with the projector. I love like shooting the table and like seeing that, like, where your bullets go through the table.
Dude, I could eat this glass. The glass in the game is so beautiful.
It's so tasty looking. Everything in this game is gorgeous.
Yeah. What's the word? The physics engine in this game is beautiful.
I love it.
It's perfect.
I love it.
It's perfect. Like, can you imagine?
In motion, this is the most beautiful game ever made. In motion. You know what I mean? Like, when everything's happening, when you're fighting and when the table is exploding and the glass is shattering and bodies are flying and like your gun is shooting and there's explosions everywhere and there's fire, like the paper in the air is on fire.
Yeah.
Nothing is more beautiful. This game in motion is a masterpiece.
It really is. To be quite honest with you, that's all I have to say about the Foundation. I think AWE is definitely better.
Okay, I'm so glad you think that.
It's
Because I thought I was wrong. I thought I was in the minority.
No, I feel like people... AWE...
Why does no one like AWE?
It's so short compared to the Foundation. And
it's not like... But it's even then, it's not like short. It's like 5 hours.
Yeah, still. It should have been reversed where AWE is longer.
How do you like the investigation sector? Like, how do you compare it to the Foundation? How do you feel about it?
Foundation or investigation sector is creepy.
It's scary.
It is scary, and like it has all of like the dirt on all of the directors and stuff.
Yes, I love that. Like, you read about Northmore and Trench and like, oh, so good, dude.
Geez. I like the new service weapon, the Surge. I thought it was interesting.
I never use the Surge almost ever. Tell me what you think about it.
It's a cool, like, I like the idea of them adding a new service weapon. I like the idea of them adding a new power. It's a little half-baked, both of them. Because Surge...
I think the power especially, because it's like contextual.
Yes.
So it's like not a real power.
And the service weapon... I didn't even get the trophy for killing 25 people with it, and I was trying to use it the entire time playing AWE. It's really weak. It's not very good.
That's a bummer.
But it's like, you shoot it, and then you can detonate it. It's basically a C4 launcher.
It felt like a worse version of Charge. Yeah. Like, why would I not just use Charge?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Charge is a missile launcher, essentially. So I feel like we're not explaining anything this episode.
We will.
Because there's so much to explain, you know?
Yeah.
It's like... But I agree. I agree with you about Surge.
But no, I really like AWE, and AWE really it really lets you know like what's going on in the game, or what could be going on. Especially with the connection of Alan Wake and stuff.
Yes.
But talk to me about AWE, my friend.
I love how it embraces the creepiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I never played Alan Wake.
Oh.
But I went and watched a couple documentaries on it after I played through AWE. And I thought it was really cool that they bring back the theme of like using light to defeat your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that this was scary. Like there were times, especially when you go down into like that service tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his name? Hartman?
Yeah.
Hartman is like there in the tunnel with you.
Oh, he's creepy.
And you have to like, oh dude, he's so creepy. And the way he like when he grabs you, the first time he grabbed me, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Like I was so scared.
You have to like shoot him as fast as you can.
I didn't even know. But yeah, dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I just love how they build on it. Like that's the first time, and all you have to do is like dash to areas of light. Then the next time you have to plug something in. Then the next time you have to unplug things to plug something else in.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next time you have to, it's really cool how they build on the puzzle over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I thought it was really impressive. So
yeah, it's very cool. And I really like the boss fight of the last boss fight with Hartman.
Me too.
I just wish it was a little, because like you kill him and then like it's over. That's the end of AWE's story, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was more finality with, because I really like Hartman being a constant force of threat, right?
Like a part of the oldest house?
Yeah. And I liked him being like mixed with the regular enemies. But then to have him as the boss, I was feeling like, oh, they could have done something else here. But maybe that just wouldn't make any sense. I felt like fighting the darkness, some sort of the part of the darkness would have been kind of cool. Like maybe bring back a boss from, there weren't really bosses in Alan Wake, but maybe bring back the bear from Alan Wake, I think there was a bear.
I don't know.
I haven't played that game in so long. I think I played it back in probably the year it came out.
A long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
But
yeah.
But I like the boss fight though. I think it's cool. He's a great enemy. Hartman's a great antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as you learn about him and like you understand what happened to him.
What happened to him? Talk to me.
Okay, so Hartman was the psychologist of Alan Wake.
Okay.
And of Thor and of Odin. And so pretty much Bright Falls is an area of power. Mm-hmm. Just like the oldest house, right?
Yeah.
And Ordinary, right? So it's a place, and it was really interesting. So you know how there's the dark place in Alan Wake?
Yeah.
And it's below the water? That's the actual area of power, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is it grants creative people the power to create. Mm-hmm. So Alan Wake, he's an author. What he writes comes to life, right? Mm-hmm. The musicians Thor and Odin, what they play comes to life. And the poet that Jesse quotes and that no one's ever heard of, he writes poetry and it comes to life, right?
Was his name Timothy Zahn?
Yeah, weird. But anyways, so it's this area of power that makes them, come to life.
Yeah.
Anyways, the thing is that I think Alan Wake taps into the dark place, but he also goes into it to save his wife. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Yeah.
And technically he's there right now in the dark place. Yes. And that's what's going on.
It's basically the Ocean View Motel or the Lakeside.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah, right. It's some area in the astral plane.
Thomas
right?
Zane, not Timothy.
Timothy Zahn. Timothy Zahn, the Star Wars author. No, Thomas Zane. And this dude tried to go into the dark place after him. Mm-hmm. The Dr. Hartman did. But he was also he was a para-utilitarian because he was trying to use a bunch of objects of power or altered items to his benefit. Anyways, but he went into the dark because the thing is that all these other people went into the darkness.
Yeah.
And they never came out. And he thought he was stronger than them because he learned everything they knew. And so he thought he was going to go into the darkness and come out the other side wiser and with all the knowledge, but it corrupts him and he becomes that monster. So he becomes part of the darkness.
Yeah.
So that's why he is the way he is.
I like it.
Yeah. It didn't sound as interesting when I said it, but it was pretty cool when I read it.
No, that's cool. I should have read more about him because I didn't know that, or I forgot at least. Must have just fell through the cracks of my mind.
You fool. Investigation has some of the best what's it called, memos and collectibles.
Yeah.
Even in the first area, there's like 20.
There's
it's
so
awesome.
many.
I was just reading for like 30 minutes. I loved it.
I liked how AWE added more to even the exploration of the world. Like they used a lot of break the glass above you to like get into a room. Like it doesn't tell you where to go, and then you look up and it's like, oh, there's a window right there. What if I break that? And then that's how you get around the blockade or the locked door. So I like that. They were trying new things, and it really helped. It really improved the game.
I think so too.
And this AW had some pretty good side quests. I didn't finish all of them. There was one of them that was I forgot what it's called, but it's something starring Jesse Faden.
Oh, I love that one.
That one with the 80s music.
With the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
That was pretty cool.
Did you hear? Okay, so did you ever listen to the podcasts from like Movie Brian?
I don't think so.
Did you ever find the interview tape where this lady is interviewing a kid named Brian who like had done a podcast about a movie?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So there's this dude named Brian. And you might have gotten like one or two of them, but they're all scattered, you know?
Yeah.
But there's this dude named Brian, and he does podcasts, but they're only like 5 minutes long. But the first thing I found was in the investigation sector, this lady interviewing him, and she's trying to figure out how he got a hold of this altered item, or this thing that came from an altered item. It was a movie. Because the camera that Jesse finds, that she has that weird experience with, it will touch people, and even though they're doing something totally normal, it will change what they're doing into something crazy and put a movie out about it, essentially. Yeah. Anyway, so this kid, Brian, got his hands on one of these movies somehow, and he reviews it. And it's like this really trippy movie where this like postman is chased down by dogs, and they like eat his arms as he's driving, and it's like really grotesque. And eventually he like crashes and dies. Anyways, he watches the movie, he reviews it on his podcast, and then he gets like abducted by the FBC because they think that he's like creating altered items, and they like, you know, almost arrest him and kill him and whatnot. Yeah. Anyways, he gets out later and he puts out more podcasts. It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Anyways, but then that's the item, and it makes the movie about you fighting.
I wonder if that item shot the Dynamite video.
Dude, I hope so.
I have some things to say about AWE, but they're kind of more conjecture.
Ooh.
And more of like my interpretation of it.
Yeah.
But is there anything else?
What do you think?
I feel so. Timothy Zahn or Thomas Zane.
Yeah.
He wrote Alan Wake to replace him, right?
Dude, I didn't understand any of that because I've never played Alan Wake and I don't understand what's happening.
As far as I remember, Thomas Zane wrote Alan Wake into the darkest place, or whatever it's called, the dark place, to replace, because it can only be one person with creative nature or whatever who takes control of the dark place. So he wrote himself a knight in shining armor to replace him, pretty much.
Okay.
So I feel like Alan Wake wrote Jesse Faden and the Bureau to give someone power to save him.
Ooh.
And I feel like we don't ever meet Darling because that is Alan Wake explaining to you the story.
And he is literally Alan Wake.
And he literally is voiced by Alan Wake.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
And just the whole the Lakeview Motel looks very much like Bright Falls.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, it's ocean view, and then there's like the lake view something there that he stays in the game, right?
Yeah.
And water, obviously, you know, it's in the middle of like renewal and like another world.
Yeah. But I feel like that's what they're going for, or that's what they're leading to, maybe, is an Alan Wake Control crossover thing.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously they AWE, but
The Alan Wake experience.
yes. I feel like that's where it should go.
I agree, but there's too many threads.
I know.
You know, like what happens with Dylan? What happens with the former? What happens with Alan Wake?
Well, it's like all that stuff is just from Alan Wake's head.
Or is it?
Or is it?
That's the thing, is like, I agree, but like, because that's like a cool idea, but then did he literally create like the former and the board and their history
And the FBC and stuff.
and the astral plane and the
Yeah.
FBC? But he might have.
Well, because I feel like he's done it to give Jesse the means to become powerful enough to save him, and not so
Yeah.
much replace him, just to save him, to get him out of the dark place.
Because she's, well, I was going to say she's more powerful than him, but he maybe created her.
Exactly.
Wrote her into existence.
But she's not a very creative
Wow.
person, so she couldn't take his place, so she would have to save him.
I don't know.
But that's it.
But I do want to know,
Huh.
even because I know that, like, now this is totally out of left field. But speaking of, like, the endings, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel about the ending? Because you walk out of fighting Marshall and you can see the former in the distance,
Wait a second.
in the Foundation. And then
I
that's
think
it.
I just remembered something.
What's that?
I feel like Thomas Zane is a Sedge for Alan Wake, though.
A Sedge.
I think it's his
Oh,
polar
I
opposite.
see what you mean. Well, yeah, I mean, they're literally the same
Bizarro.
person, right? Like, in the cutscene, they're the
They
same.
look the same, yeah. I don't know. It's been so long since I played Alan Wake. But, sorry, what were you
Like,
saying?
they should have done a recap before you play the game, because I was like, I don't know what's going on. But what I was going to say was just, I was really bummed. Like, I get why it wasn't there, because they need a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really, really bummed that I didn't get to see a confrontation between the former and the board.
Yeah.
Like, the Foundation just felt like it was setting up for this huge conflict that I was really excited to understand and see.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, nothing happened.
Yeah,
And even Ash's notes, like, he was talking to the former. Ash is talking to the former. What's going on with the id? They believe in the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's all this cave writing about the former and the board, and like nothing comes of it.
Yeah.
You know, the board's like, yeah, you better not talk to the former, and the former's like, you better not talk to the board, but like nothing happens, and I found that really lame because that was so cool to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wish is probably just for a sequel of some sort.
There better be, or I'll be pissed because I want to know what happens. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But yeah, that's all I have to say about AWE. Is there anything else you got for me?
No, just that it's great. Just really,
It's really good.
incredible atmosphere.
Really
and I love the
solid.
investigation sector. I prefer investigations to Foundation, personally.
Oh, for sure.
Office building.
100%.
Give me more office
Give me
buildings.
more office building. Give me cubicles. There's no cubicles ever.
Oh, that's true. That would have been great. Could crash through some cubicles.
Exactly. But I think we're ready for some fast ones.
Heck yeah, man. I have some slow, fast ones.
I got some
Medium ones.
fast ones and some fun fast ones.
Yeah. Let's. Do you want to start with some medium ones? What do you
Sure.
think? All right, I'll give them to you. What could we have done as the developers of this game to make it better? Like, why, and specifically in regards to the story, like, why doesn't the story resonate? The main story, I mean. And I'm just assuming that it didn't. But for me, it just, and it resonate, of course. But, like, there's just something about this game's story that doesn't connect for me. Does that make sense?
I honestly, because they're talented people over there, I feel like their intention was for you to feel this way. Even though
But this
that's
is the
a
thing.
real cop out.
It's not that I feel unresolved. It's that it was a bad story.
Oh, okay.
That's and I don't mean like bad. Like the content was fine. The symbolism's interesting. It's just like I don't know how to describe it. It's just not finished, not well done.
Maybe
It's like all the pieces are there, but what they add up to is not as much as what the pieces are.
Yeah.
What's that phrase? The sum is not greater than like the parts. Like the parts are better than the sum. Like what happened? I don't think it stacks up to stories in other games or in movies.
Yeah,
It's like the story was on the back burner while they were making this incredible world.
I agree. Because really the story is in all of the research memos and in all of the collectibles. That's where you're going to find the bulk of the most interesting parts of this game. While everything else is so visually distracting from a lack of story or a lack of not guidance, but just a lack of
Character?
reason.
No. Reason? I don't.
It's hard to describe like what this game is lacking. And what
Because
could
sometimes
you
it's
do?
great.
I would probably cut down on some of the side characters and build up the other ones, and have
Yeah,
them
I
be
think
more
that's true.
integral to the main part of the story.
Yes.
Like if we cut out, I don't know. Thing is, like, I would
They're all important.
like cut out Underhill, but Underhill has some quirky love story with Darling, and it's really interesting and funny, and she like introduces you to the mold.
I just wish that either it was more about Dylan or it was more about the
that's
hiss.
what it is. It has to be more about Dylan.
And and I think that's the good solution. Like Dylan should have played a bigger role.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Why wasn't
that
a
this,
DLC? Why wasn't the Foundation about Dylan? Like, why wasn't
the
there
found Dylan?
the found Dylan? He is found. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that is what it missed though. It's like they didn't know what to do with him.
I feel like that's most of this game is they, like, besides the combat and the beautiful sexy aesthetic,
Beautiful.
they didn't know what to do with the rest of it. Like, it got too, like, yes, it got very weird, but to the point where it didn't make any sense. And like, I feel like they didn't even know what to make of it as they were making it.
Or it's like it's complicated or it's like vague, but not for a reason.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like, hey, you found Dylan. Oh no, you lost Dylan. Oh, you found him. Game's over.
I think they literally didn't know what to do with Dylan. Like, they didn't know how to resolve their issues together.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know how to resolve the fact that they're both powerful. They didn't know how to resolve that he hates the FBC and the fact that she kind of just loves the FBC even though they've ruined her life.
How do you feel? Okay,
And-
how do you feel about the ending? Like, in that final section where it's showing Trench killing himself, and then it shows Jesse shooting Trench, and then it shows Dylan shooting Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it goes through so many different like character switches, and then it shows like them all killing each other.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Like, what is Dylan in the story? Like, is he? Because like one of our I think it was the Games of Our Teens or something, or Games of the Generation episode. You told me to quickly describe the story of Control, and I said that you find out that you are your brother. Like, but seriously though, are you all one person since you're all prime candidates?
I think that you're all hosts or potential hosts for the Hiss. And the Hiss is just trying to be in charge.
I guess. I mean that makes sense, but I don't know.
I feel like he was
Dylan's role is.
vastly underused.
Yeah, what's his
That's like the main
role?
problem
Like,
with this game.
He's the goal of Jesse, like, to be like, she's looking for him, but then you're not looking for him for a while.
I know, and then you finally found him. You find him, and then he's like just there, and then he's gone, and then he's back.
I guess you save him from the hiss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just like, this is the thing. If he's gonna embrace the hiss, let him embrace the hiss, so you can have some sort of character good conflict and development. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I felt a lack. Like, here's the thing. I get it that Jessie feels alone, and she feels and like an outcast. But for her to like risk life and limb to save the Bureau, which stole her brother and ruined her life and lied to her entire life, and is, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of iffy that she'd be willing to risk her brother's life and everything to save the Bureau.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, but I get it, you know, but I don't at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, you know? Mm-hmm. It's just like, we needed a little bit more reason for her to change, to love the Bureau, and to accept being director. Mm-hmm. And we also needed more Dylan to provide conflict. And I feel like that would have made so much sense, right? Wouldn't he be the perfect detractor to try to get her to not go with the Bureau?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't that the main conflict? Like, it is the main conflict, so why didn't they use it?
Like some sort of agent of the farmer.
Ooh.
You know?
Or at least actually an agent of the hiss.
Yeah, or like some sort of physical manifestation of the farmer or the hiss.
Yeah.
That can bleed into like the astral plane and the real world. I don't know.
I agree, but at least the most part, we agree that Dylan should have been a bigger part, and that could have fixed some of the problems.
Yeah.
But it is really hard to like pin down what the issue is. It's just something falls flat, right? Like, it's not just me, right?
Yeah, there's something there, for sure. But the game is just so pretty and fun to play. It's distracting.
Yes. Yes. She's a beautiful woman that steals your credit card.
That's right. You want to just go back and forth with fast ones?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. I'll do some fasty. Or no, I'll start with a good one. A real good one. In your ashtray maze, what would be your song? What would be the song?
Oh, dude. It would be Peacocks in Debt. The song we wrote. Or one of the songs we wrote. That's what my song would be. That'd be dope. I would love to shoot Hiss Warped to Peacocks in Debt.
I like that.
The greatest song ever written.
It's a great song. It's a great answer.
What would yours be?
Be Guest House by Daughters. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Wowza.
Yeah.
I like it.
The song makes me feel like... it's weird saying
Good daughter.
No, that song makes me feel... It's like the feeling of being watched, but like sinking into insanity.
I love that feeling.
That's the feeling I get from that song, and I love that. What was that?
It's Squish Alive.
Oh, jeez.
Sponsored by Squish Alive. My wife loves like a slime. It's kind of like slime.
I hate that it's like flesh colored.
It is.
That's cool. Peacocks and Dead would be a good one. Oh, jeez. Okay, you're next.
Oh, yes. Okay. What other power would you have added other than pull rocks out when I tell you you can?
I think this game could have used a freeze time.
A quantum break?
A quantum break.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope. Not gonna lie.
Cool. Like if you could freeze a hiss elevated or a hiss warped so that they can't attack you while you kill all like the other guys and then focus on that one, that would have been kind of cool. And that would have really helped with boss fights too.
That's true.
Like if you could freeze the elevated in the anchor fight, or even freeze the
Yes.
anchor for like 5 seconds.
That would have been nice.
But what about you?
Dude, I don't know. It's hard because I almost feel like any power you give Jesse, an enemy has to be able to use that power. You know what I mean?
Oh, then in that case, I hope I'm not taking any ideas that you have in your head right now. Kind of like in I forgot which game, Black Ops 3, I think, where the guy had the power to go backwards.
Ooh.
Like
yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of like rewind.
Just yourself though.
Yeah, not the environment or anything like that. I think that'd be cool. I'm trying to think because I like that idea,
Yeah.
and I could see an enemy doing that.
Oh, dude.
What?
What if you could reverse the gravity?
Ooh, that would be insane.
That would be insane.
Could you imagine
Probably too
all the
crazy.
physics objects
Oh my gosh.
flying
Like
up?
if you could just reverse every room upside down, like whenever you
That'd be
wanted
cool.
to, that'd be kind of crazy.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would.
It's kind of hard because like I feel like they've really got a good grasp of powers. Like I don't know what more you could add.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea of maybe being able to freeze time in like a bubble or something.
Yeah.
But then like if they could do that to you, like what could you do about it? You know. But I like the idea of like reversing gravity. But then I don't think anything could like. I don't think the PS5 could handle that. It's too many physics objects, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Plus, how would you control? I don't know.
Like, what if there was an enemy that could do it to you also?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have like a point warp, like a teleport,
Yeah.
kind of like what's it called?
Like a blink or something.
Like a blink, or Shadow of Mordor. You can like teleport to an enemy into a melee attack.
Yeah.
You could like have a finisher system, kind of like Doom.
Yeah, or you could go into like what if you could travel
Oh, like an astral shift.
like an astral shift where you can like go behind them and they can't see you because you're in another dimension.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like a wraith walk.
Yeah.
Or something.
We have so many good ideas.
That's what a video game would call that.
Yeah.
Astral wraith
Phase
walk
walking.
shift. Phase walking, yeah.
I think that's from Borderlands.
Everything's from Borderlands. It's the cycles from Borderlands.
I like it.
I love it. I would just say my power would be what you said. That's my power. What was your next fast one?
I guess I'll go through some of the easy ones real quick because I think you have more medium ones. Favorite enemy?
Like to fight or
To
my favorite
fight.
design?
Maybe
I like
one of
fighting the
both.
rocket guys.
The rocket.
I love fighting the rocket guys.
Where you can like take their rockets and throw it back at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those dudes. And they're so, you can kill them.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, they're like the guards, but they have rockets, so they're cool. And my favorite design is probably the Rangers.
Okay. I agree.
They just look
with
so
you.
cool.
The favorite design is the Rangers for sure, and then my favorite enemy is the Elevated.
They're cool. I like fighting them.
I do love the ones
also
that
hate
are
fighting
like
them.
stuck in the chairs still.
Yeah. Those are
They're
cool.
like being used against their will.
Here's my question. Were they just people in chairs, or were they like disabled people?
They were people locked in chairs, yeah.
Okay.
They were not crippled.
That's what I thought. I was confused. I thought I saw a wheelchair once, so I was like,
That would have been like
are they just
kind of
disabled?
cool. Would have been like add a horror element, like another horror element to them.
It's true.
What's your next one, baby?
My next one is if you were working in the FBC, what would your job be / which department would you want to work in?
Like I would say the janitor, but the janitor in this game is like the all powerful being. So I don't want to say that.
It'd be cool to be the janitor though, see everything, you know?
Yeah.
Would you want to be an astronaut?
That sounds so stupid.
Have a freaking astral spike come out of your forehead when you come home? I love when they're like, when you're in the astral plane, you are not paid for overtime, even if time like extends while in the astral plane.
I would probably want to be in like, I don't know, the safest places like the executive sector.
Is anywhere safe?
Somewhere where like something's not going to kill me.
That's an understandable
Like
position.
the mail room or the pneumatics room. I think I'd want to be in luck and probability.
Just testing things. So it's like rolling dice over and over.
I want that to be.
Your job is to roll dice next to a horseshoe.
Yeah. What about you?
I like it. I'd want to work in investigations.
Okay.
I feel like they're like against the man.
Yeah.
I like that they keep the FBC in check, you know? Like, I think they're really cool. And I love their memos, and it's kind of sad to see how, like, they fell apart just because no one helped them, you know, because the FBC hated them because they were the ones that, you know, kept them in check. Yeah. So I thought they were really cool.
Actually, you know what? One that would be really cool is working in the AWEs. Like, in the models of, like, Ordinary and stuff. Like,
I know, like, cool. Bright Falls. And, oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of those, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you do the side mission with the spacesuit?
The spacesuit?
In AWE?
I don't think so.
Oh, he's so cool. You get so he's in the bunker next to the Fra Amaro AWE.
Yes.
And you have to give him his helmet back?
Yeah. I didn't do that. I know what you're talking about, though.
Oh, he's so cool. He's like totally unintelligible. He's like, he's just like screaming at Jessie to get like head. Like, to get me the head. I need the head. And she's like trying to bring him all these objects. And eventually she has to go and get him his helmet. And it gives you a charge velocity boost of like 500%.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It totally changed the way I played the game. Wow. Like getting these crazy boosts. And I don't remember, I think doing the train gets you the shatter one.
Maybe, yeah.
Which makes it so you have 0% spread. So it becomes like a magnum, like a hand cannon.
That's pretty cool.
And it one-shots everything if you get a headshot. Yeah. It's so cool. Anyway, sorry, that was totally off topic. But
no, that's fine. What's your next fast one?
My next fast one is, what would you like to see in a sequel / do you want a sequel?
Yes, I want a sequel, and I want some answers.
Me too.
That's all. That's all I have to say.
I want Dylan, and I want him now.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on with Dylan and
hot and ready.
Hot and ready. And I want my main things are Dylan and the former. Yeah. Those are the things I really want to know about.
Yeah, me too.
Alan Wake honestly is not as important to me. I don't find him as intriguing, even though I liked his DLC more.
I want the board to fall apart.
I want her to kill the board and the former, and for her to become the supreme power.
Yes. I like it.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm glad you feel the same way.
Yeah.
We're going to make a great sequel.
We are.
What's your next fast one?
What would your object of power be?
Like if an item from my life became an object of power?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about freaking items I use. Might be a kitchen knife. I do a lot of
cooking. They have to be like mundane items.
Yeah. Might be my earbuds.
I
feel like I use my earbuds constantly. Either my earbuds or like my favorite kitchen knife because I use it all the time.
Yeah.
But that's a really lame answer. But like I'm trying to think of things I use all the time that are not, you know, like a PS5 controller or my computer. What do you have an item in mind? Maybe yours is cooler than mine.
Legal pads.
Oh my gosh, yours would be legal pads. Mine might be a hat now that I think about it. I always wear hats.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
I love legal pad though. That's perfect for you.
Thank you. I think so too.
What would it do though? That's the thing. What power would it give you?
It lets you read really fast.
Wow.
It lets you write.
I use these legal pads and I just started reading.
1.25 times as fast.
1.25. We gotta talk about the buffs in this game eventually, but I don't know. What would my hat do?
Be like Mario Odyssey.
It would be just like Mario Odyssey. It would help me get new places.
That's right.
My hat would do nothing cool.
Yeah. I mean, half the altered items just like
teleport,
move around.
Multiply clocks.
What's your next fast one?
All right. My next fast one's an important one. This is the fast one I was most interested in talking to you about.
Okay, cool.
Why does Uncharted 1's repeating jungle not work, but this game's giant office building does?
Because this giant office building has like dimensions inside of it.
But this is the thing, like, I was in the Foundation with crazy dimensions, and I wanted more office building.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now.
You know what I mean? Like, because obviously there's a lot of variety inside the office building, but I love the office.
It's the physics, bro. And it's the aesthetic.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
the brutalist architecture.
It's, like I said, mathematically perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you just can't help but look at it and love it. You know? It's so symmetrical and perfect.
And it's like a real place.
It's a real place that you can destroy with powers. You can throw bodies through everything.
You can read about people's book club and then freaking throw a book through a projector screen.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And it's so cool how, like, you can hold, like, a broom in front of the projector and you, like, see the shadow of the broom. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Or, like, you can carry the projector and project it onto a different wall.
Yeah. I like
oh my
walking
gosh.
in front of the projector and putting Dr. Carling's face over mine.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, man. I mean, just...
There's just so much character in this office building.
There is.
And I think it shows that it's not always about the variety of location. It's about the quality. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't need to go to, like, 15 different locations.
Yeah.
We just need the location we're in to be incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was very impressed with, you know, because obviously there's a lot of variety in this game.
Nature of this game. They make mundane things supernatural and paranormal.
Hey, literally.
Literally.
That's kind of an interesting theme in this, right? Mm-hmm. That, like, the normal can become extraordinary.
It's the, like I said, the brutalism, transformation, and contrast, the three words that they kept going back to, you know, and that really shows in every aspect of this game.
It is the truth.
Like, even just the architecture. You have this brutal, sharp edges with these normal, mundane things, you know.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great. What's your favorite service weapon?
So it changed over the course of the game. At first it was grip, which is the pistol.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe better. What's your duo? What's your two service weapons that you use?
So
let's just talk about the
this,
service weapons.
Dude, they're great. It totally changes depending on the upgrades you get. Mm-hmm. Like, the two weapons that I used for the last 7 hours of the game, I hadn't used once until that moment. Mm-hmm. So I was pretty much just grip and whatever else was in the second spot. I only used grip.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I pretty much only used grip. But then once I got the power up for shatter and the power up for charge, I only used charge and shatter. Or charge and shatter.
Yeah. Interesting.
And they were awesome. Because shatter becomes like a freaking deagle. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. You can, like, headshot people across the map. And, like, the charge is awesome because it has like a 500% velocity boost and like 200% blast radiuses. Well, what was your favorite service weapon?
Oh,
did you find those upgrades, by the way? The ones I was talking about for the shatter and charge?
One.
Dude, it's so good.
Because I didn't do.
You made the shatter usable.
I didn't do those two side quests.
Oh, they're so good.
I'm a firm grip believer.
Yeah.
But
I'm a grip man.
I tried everything for a little while. I used different things for. Usually, just the countermeasures would force me to change. You know, so like I would use the spin sometimes, even though it's pretty useless.
I hate
it's pretty
spin.
Good if you use it against like I used spin against Hartman, and it really worked very well.
Interesting.
I liked it. But my go-to was Pierce and Charge. Those are my
Wow. Interesting.
two. I love those two.
I did not like Pierce
But
at all.
I'll tell you this. Do you want to know why I use those? Because they're the slowest
Why?
ones in the game.
Yeah.
Like, you get 2 shots with Pierce and 3 with Charge.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just enough time for me to charge up my telekinesis.
The true service weapon was launched.
Exactly.
You leveled it up to get the thing where you could have multiple items at once, right?
Yes. But
Oh,
that's not
thank
what I
you.
did. Okay. Quick aside. You want me to tell you how I made Jesse?
Tell me your
You
build.
want to know what personal mods I used?
Oh yeah, tell me.
I used 3 of the highest launch things like
Efficiency ones.
efficiencies. I would kill everything so fast by just tapping R1 over and over again, launching 1,000 things at once with these guys. I think I captured a video, maybe not. I wish I did, because there's a time where it was Tomasi. He was floating around, and I just used launch, and he died in a snap. He's dead because of how many things I launched at him. It was
dope.
Launch makes me so happy.
Oh, it's so good.
It
It's like
feels so
the
good.
connection between the sound design and the way the objects collide, and
Because
the way bodies ragdoll.
it's so brutal. It's brutal, man.
It's visceral, man.
You devastate. You devastate the enemy.
My favorite is when you pick up an object that's behind somebody.
Oh, and make it hit them in the back of the head. Yeah.
Yes.
And then just
And
throw
they're
it
just
back at
gone.
them.
Yes.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh. And I love when you get someone down low on health and you
Pick
kill
them up.
them by telekinesis.
Oh, dude, I would just
Oh
pick up
my
the troopers
gosh.
and the warps all the time.
It's so good.
And usually I'll just pick them up just to throw them at a wall. Just because I
Yeah,
wanted
me
to see
too.
their ragdoll.
Oh, it's so violent.
It really is.
For anybody who hasn't played Control, now that we've completely spoiled it for you, go play Control.
It's so much fun.
You don't. It is one of the most fun games I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. Some games are hard, some games are challenging. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And hard and challenging. Just fun.
It's so good. But
I'm so glad that we both love this game, though.
yeah, me too. But piercing the charge were my two. I love charge. I love charging it up. And Pierce was always fun. I like the haptic feedback for Pierce. It's
It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, it's all right, everybody, put your
I thought
ears
my
to
controller's
your
gonna
phone.
break.
Bzzz. Oh, it's so good though.
Yeah,
PS5, man. I love that you can feel your footsteps.
that is the best part.
It's so cool.
Yeah. But that's all.
But yeah, man, this it's so good.
That's all I have to say about the service weapons. And I guess we talked about launch.
Yes,
was
I
launch
love
your
launch.
favorite?
Oh yeah,
mine too, for sure.
easily.
Okay.
But they're all so good. Levitate's so good. Dodge is so good. Launch is obviously the best though, especially once you can have 3 objects at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. Just walk around with 3 things in the air and you just throw them all at one person. They're just dead.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But do you want another fast one from me?
Of course I do.
If you had to be part of any video game world, which one would you want to be a part of?
Oh.
And I asked this question because I would want to be a part of Control. If I could work at the FBC, that'd be so dope, even though I would certainly die.
Yeah.
I love this world. It's my favorite game world, which is weird to say, but I love this game world.
I think I agree with you, but only because this world is probably one of the closest ones to our world.
It is very close.
It's just crazy enough to be different, but it's not too crazy. It is pretty crazy once you get into the astral planes and stuff, but it's not I don't want to be in Midgard from Final Fantasy. or in God of War.
I was like, or God of War.
I definitely don't want to be in like 2022 or 2042 of The Last of Us. So
More Metro Exodus.
yes.
Most game worlds are horrible.
Yeah. This one is just different and crazy enough that it's like, I can live with this. If I die from a rubber ducky, I die from a rubber ducky. It's no big deal.
It's a good way to go.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you.
Cool world.
Cool.
That's my last medium one, by the way.
I think, let me see. I have like favorite characters and bosses and stuff. I think we've already discussed that in our previous conversations.
Yeah, I think so too.
This is kind of like off your Resident Evil 4 Fast one. Which hiss would you fight?
Like if I had to.
Like if you had to fight one of them.
I mean, definitely a hiss guard. That's kind of a lame answer, though. What if I had to fight one of the bosses?
Oof. Yeah, sure.
The thing is, like, oh no, or do you want me to fight one of like the special enemies, like the hiss distorted, the hiss trooper, or the hiss?
So you can't pick guard, or
rocket guy, or trooper probably.
Yeah, the trooper's the big Gatling gun guy.
Oh man, I would just die to all of them.
I would try to fight.
I feel like the trooper is the one I would have to fight. The Gatling gun guy.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Because like,
I
if you're fighting an elevated, like
this.
He's in the air. Like, what are you gonna do? He's flying. You gonna throw things at him? He has telekinesis.
And could you even fight the mold?
No. Could you punch it?
Yeah.
Like.
Okay. Let's scratch that one. I have a better one than that.
That was a good question. I would die to all of them.
Yeah, we would just die from all of them. They're not. None of them are like Mendez from Resident Evil 4.
No, none of them are.
So
easy to break their spines.
All right, this is a better one.
Give it to me.
You have to duel someone, but you're both using the same service weapon. Which one are you using? Like, if you had to duel someone with the same service weapon, which would it be?
Am I close to them?
Let's just say you're in the mailroom, both on each end.
You know,
like if you had to kill someone with a service weapon.
Do I have like the mods I would have in the game?
Yeah, but they have the same ones too.
I would use the shatter with my mods.
Oof.
Just because I got such a feel for getting headshots with it.
Yeah.
I became amazing. Mm-hmm. I was like playing Counter-Strike Go with these fools. So I would use the shatter.
Yeah, I would use Pierce.
And I would win. That's probably a good one too, Pierce.
Only because you only have 2 shots before you have to reload. So there's enough chances
you're likely to survive.
Yeah. I can't use charge.
That would be a bad idea.
But yeah, that's the last real fast one I have for you.
I like it, man.
I might have one more or 2 more for you.
If you were a hiss, which hiss would you be?
That's one of them. Darn it.
Yeah.
I would be an elevated.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. You think you're better than everyone.
That's right.
You get to use launch. You'd be very happy.
Yeah.
I like the elevated.
What about you?
I'd be a rocket trooper.
Mm.
They're hilarious. I love the way they just like run away from you the second you get close. They just like sprint. They're like, nope. I like the rocket troopers. I would love to be shooting a freaking RPG in this office building for no reason.
Which one do you think I would be? Like,
I think you'd be an elevated. I think that's a good answer.
Okay.
Yeah, you got an elevated sort of air about you. You'd be a distorted.
You'd be a cluster.
You'd be an elevated. Oh, come on.
No,
I'd love to be a
you'd
cluster.
Be
I'm very
everybody.
supportive.
Exactly.
I'm a nice
very
guy.
Supportive guy.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, I'd be whatever you said. I forgot what they're
cluster.
called already. Cluster. be a cluster or a rocket man.
I like it.
Rocket man. Honestly, you kind of stole all my ideas. Oh, what about favorite outfit? What's your favorite outfit?
That's the one I was going to say next. Golden
said it,
suit
though.
for sure. I love the golden suit.
The zoot suit. I like the director's outfit.
Yeah?
That's because I like her hair. Like, I think it's
bun.
really cool. She has, like, the board.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the pyramid in her hair. I thought that was really cool.
It is cool.
And it's like the same. It's like a color swap of the golden suit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sometimes the golden suit looks very yellow, and I didn't love that.
I like the yellow.
You would like the
I
yellow.
love yellow.
But yeah, I like the director suit. That was my
Speaking
favorite suit.
Of yellow, I love that music room. Or that soundproof room.
Yeah.
So it looks like a honeycomb.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's like the lyrics scrawled on the whiteboard and that plays the song. It was cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had one more thing to talk about, but it's not a very good thing to end on.
I don't know if I have anything good to end on. Which character are we?
Like in the game.
Yeah.
I feel like you're either Dr. Darling or Dylan.
Thanks.
You're either a good psychopath or a bad psychopath. No.
Probably more like Dylan. I'm not smart enough to be darling.
Dude, no one is. No, I feel like one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I like both those characters, so. Yeah. I'm a worm through time.
I could see you being a mixture of like
Don't you dare call me Emily.
Arish. You're like Arish and Dylan combined. Or you're like Arish and Casper combined. That's better.
A freaking psychopath. No. I'm just this happy, incompetent working man. That's me.
Aren't we all?
That is actually me, though. It's like, yeah. Is that not who I am?
Okay.
I like that, though.
End us off horribly, Josh.
So, you remember SCP? Secure, Contain, Protect? It was a thing. It was a website for a very long time.
Sure.
And it was this fictional thing about this fictional organization that would find and contain these supernatural entities.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, do you remember that game that I played with you a long time ago? Where they're like these terrifying concrete Teletubby things?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And you had a blink button.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Because if you stopped looking at it,
Yeah.
it would teleport to you. Anyway, so that was SCP. It was called SCP Containment Breach. It was a game made about SCP.
Mm-hmm.
So the FBC in Control was heavily inspired by SCP.
Really?
And, well, if you think about it,
yeah,
yeah.
it
Because
totally
it's about
makes
a
sense.
government organization that, yeah, it does all of the things that they do in the game Control. And I was curious, would you like to see a full-fledged SCP game? Or do you feel like that niche has already been fulfilled by
Didn't
Control?
they already do that?
It was a fan game. So it wasn't like a real...
No, I thought they made like a real SCP game where it was like a 4-player shooter.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, when?
It's called something else though, but it's like all the enemies looked like SCP. So,
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, you have to look this up and tell me. It's like, I have no recollection of this. But SCP's pretty interesting. It's kind of like a darker version of Control.
Yeah.
Because Control always carries with it a certain amount of levity. You know what I mean? I'm looking up SCP game. Containment Breach comes up right immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak.
I knew I saw it just not too long ago for horror. The Forest is a horror game?
Yeah, dude.
I didn't know that.
You ever play a horror game? Or do you ever play,
You ever play a horror
The
game
Forest?
even?
You ever play a horror game?
Dang, what?
And that's our podcast on Control.
Closing thoughts. This is a great game. You should play it.
100%.
Especially since it's free right now. Right?
Well,
It was.
it's
March now.
free when you It's free 6 months ago. Now that you're hearing this,
That's right.
like, I imagine you're
This
not
is
going to
right.
hear this podcast till like freaking August or something. It was free when we made this.
Yeah. Just go back in time, get it for free.
It's probably in your PS Plus library. I mean, come on, guys. You gotta add everything. I learned my lesson when I didn't get Battlefront. This game is amazing. Even if you have to buy it, go buy it. It's that good. It's worth money. So it's so good, man. Buy the game.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Please play it.
Put that on the box.
Yeah. It's so good. Control 2.
Yes.
What would the sequel be
Would it
called?
be called?
Yeah.
The Return of Dylan. No. The Arrival of Dylan, because he never freaking showed up in the first game.
Out of control. Okay.
What if it's just controlled?
Oh.
Or controller?
Oh.
Or controlling?
Or no
I don't know.
control.
It's to roll.
I.
I
All right, guys.
thank you guys.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again
We
soon.
love you.
Love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you must be Ahti,
Only 3
out of
hours.
your mind. If they don't hire you, there'll be work for the axe. Taken behind the swan now. It's place for congratulations. It happened in the last drop. You think there's a dog buried in this? I'll hit the facts on the table, and the pins in the earth inside is starting to feel the band around his head. We all disappear like fire Sahara. You catch the end of the thread. You must got peace in your soul. He was climbing the walls from loneliness. Burn it to a reindeer, not a moose. Bark don't make a wound. Throw the spoon in the corner. Hey, hey, Perkele. There's a poster behind the poster. Yeah, there's a poster behind the poster. Hey, Perkele, 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 Perkele. Hey, Perkele, hey, Perkele. Hey, Perkele, hey, Perkele.